to take down the Scots, you got to like this year the fact that the McKinney Lions, like you said, the record-setting offense, they can score points against anybody. They did it against every team they faced this year. They put points on the board.
You hear the bagpipes in the background. Not sure why they are actually playing the bagpipes here tonight, because McKinney is the home team. You'd think the bagpipes would be left at home and not being able to play here while McKinney's the home team. However, Highland Park has a way of doing things like that, so the bagpipes are here, and you can hear them. Overall, Highland Park versus McKinney. The series goes back to 1932. Matter of fact, November the 4th, so nearly, that's a lot, 70-something years ago, 76?
They said there'd be no math.
Yeah, anyway. 5-22, McKinney versus Highland Park overall, going back to 1932. Not a good record against the Highland Park Scots, but I would ask you, who does have a good record against the Highland Park Scots?
Well, that's the thing. I'm very blessed to have you do all this research that you do. It allows me to be lazy and eat my Fritos on the couch. I didn't think that the record would be as lopsided as it was. I mean, there's been some good McKinney teams over the years, and these teams have shared the same district, and you're about to get into that. I think all of our listeners are going to be surprised by this too.
Well, you think about 5-22. You go back to the last time McKinney actually beat Highland Park. It was 13 years ago, 1995, when a score like we might see tonight, 56-42. McKinney wins over Highland Park at Highlander Stadium.
That's a defensive battle compared to what we probably will see today.
One thing that we do have to talk about tonight that may shake things up than what we thought about is the wind. The wind is a huge factor here tonight at Tom Kimbrough Stadium. So far, we're looking at the field goal post, and it has calmed down a little bit from what it was about, say, 30 minutes ago. But 30 minutes ago, it was actually shaking the north goalpost, and I thought for a moment that the goalpost might actually even come down. It was very scary. And we were up here in the press box in a nice, beautiful, new, luxurious press box, and it was cracking like we were at Bearcat Stadium in Sherman. No offense, Sherman.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Monty, this is one of the few times where I think the coin toss will have a big say in this game, because I think the team that's got the wind at their back in the fourth quarter will have a big advantage.
Well, just to point out what we were watching in pregame warm-ups, the kickers for McKinney, C.J. Gonzalez, they were kicking towards that north wind and basically extra points. And the ball would go up, and it would look great until it got basically in between the two goalposts, and it would go straight up in the air and come right back because the wind was just pushing it. So an extra point is not a given tonight in that north end zone.
No, and that's the first time I've ever seen a kick stop in midair and fall straight down. I've never seen that. And I've been around football for the last high school 10 years, 12 years, something along those lines, and it's just amazing to never see that.
John Leidy, our sideline extraordinaire, has been down on the field tonight. John, talk about what you experienced on the field with that wind.
Well, guys, like y'all mentioned, this wind is very strong coming out of the north, and the fact that whatever team has the ball in the fourth quarter with the wind to their back coming out of the north heading towards the south end zone is likely going to be passing the ball. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of passing yards heading from south to north, as that wind is up in the 30-mile-per-hour gusting range. And it's one of those things, you got two prolific quarterbacks here that can just chunk the ball down the field and get some great receivers. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen some 70 and almost 80-yard passes down the field on fourth down there in the fourth quarter for either team.
All right, thanks, John. Talking about, you make a good point with the quarterbacks. This is a game of two highly touted quarterbacks that are not seniors. They're both juniors. And Zach Lee for McKinney, 6'4", 195 pounds, and a junior. He runs a 4.7 and benches 200 pounds. He has 2,688 yards passing and 30 touchdowns through the air. That is absolutely incredible. But his counterpart, Luke Woodley for Highland Park, comes in tonight with 2,849 yards, and he also has 30 touchdowns through the air. Not as tall. He's 6 foot 195, but two great quarterbacks coming in tonight in this football game.
Yeah, it kind of marks a big difference. You remember last year, Darren Alves had 2,600 yards as a quarterback, but that was through his feet. And, the scary thing is as much as Lee has the ability to throw, he's also, and you don't see it too often because his offensive line does really well, but he can also tuck it and run. And I'd be interesting to see, because I do think one of the big battles tonight is going to be on the lines for both sides. And I think McKinney has the advantage on both sides.
Yeah, I think you're right. As far as the rushing game, well, it's not even a contest. Brett Choo Choo Helt, and yeah, we're going to stick with that nickname, Choo Choo Helt. On the season, 1,652 yards on the ground. Now, everybody thinks when you're talking about McKinney, you talk about Zach Lee and all those great wide receivers, but actually it's a well-balanced offense with Choo Choo Helt and his 21 touchdowns on the ground. You flip that over to Highland Park, and their leading rusher, Brian Dickinson. Dickinson, of course, he's a cousin of the Dickinson twins from a few years ago that we saw at Texas Stadium. Brian Dickinson, their leading rusher, has 966 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's 7.5 yards per carry, but they don't run the football. And in this kind of game, when the wind is so prevalent coming out of the north, this is going to be one of those games that you're going to run from one side and you're going to pass on the other. And McKinney can do both. Not so sure Highland Park can.
Yeah, and the thing that further casts doubt upon the Scott running game is Will Glasscock and Brooks McKinley. They have 63 and 38 carries between them. And it's like I was saying during the pregame, if you've got Emmitt Smith, you don't split time with Kervin Richards. You know, so the fact that these other guys have gotten a fair amount of carries makes you wonder about just what they think of Brian Dickinson and his running ability.
Well, we've got a very interesting senior spotlight and coach's show from Coach Bobby Ray's coming up, so you'll want to stay tuned to that. We'll have more by-district action coming up in a moment here from Tom Kimbrough Stadium on 97.5 KLAK. Who do I do first?
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Kimbrough Stadium as McKinney makes their way through their Lion Tunnel, the inflated tunnel in the north end zone. And thank goodness right now they're running south because they don't have to run into the teeth of that wind, which is crazy down on the field right now. Let's go over the starting lineups. Matter of fact, the coin toss was just a moment ago. Highland Park won the coin toss. They elected to defer. So McKinney will start out going into that wind here in the first quarter with the football. Heading right to left, which is south to north. Starting lineup for the offense of McKinney. Up front, left tackle, Bo Brasher. Tyler Peterson, the left guard. The center, Nate Leonard. Brian Warren, the right guard. And the right tackle, Jacob Smith. The quarterback tonight for McKinney, Zach Lee. The tailback tonight, Brett Choo Choo Helt. The wide receivers will be Matt Lipka and Dario Jackson in the slot. Jared Farley and Will Rogers, your two senior spotlights you heard just a moment ago. Defensively for the Highland Park Scots, as we're just about ready to go into the national anthem. And why don't we do that? While we do that, let's take another quick break. We'll come back with the defense for Highland Park.
And McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
Now back to the starting lineups for Highland Park, the defense. Up front, Joey Landis, Scott Reed, and Edward Neblett. The cornerbacks, Matt Bonanno and Stephen Bailey. The linebackers, Charlie Foose, Jackson Hager, Murphy Hank, the leading tackler, and Will Andrews on the outside. The two safeties, Justin Cardenas and Jeff Howarth, who's the son of the defensive coordinator for Highland Park. Up front, McKinney averages 253 pounds up front, and they'll be working against Highland Park, who averages 209 across their front, as McKinney comes out on the field to return this initial kickoff. And Matt Lipka and Dario Jackson will stand inside their 10 as they actually go down to the goal line, expecting a big kick with that wind. And Matt Bonanno, with the wind at his back, will sail this one surely, probably in the end zone. Maybe not even a chance for a return here, as we're just about ready for our JBS Express initial kickoff for the playoffs in 2008.
Yeah, Monty, real quick, we're talking about the wind. It's starting to die down. It was in the 30s when we were getting ready for the game. Now it's down to about 20 to 25, so that's starting to favor Highland Park a little bit. And right now it's cloudy overhead with a high, or I should say high, it is what it is, 59 degrees.
The officials tonight, the referee, Michael Woodard, the umpire, Dickie Dunn, the head linesman, Jake Reichenstein, the line judge, David Tucker, and the back judge, Jerome Berglund. And the ball's already blown off the tee.
Yeah, they're going to have somebody hold that all game long if the wind stays as it is.
The holder for Highland Park will be Colin Thomas. And Matt Bonanno is set to kick this one away.
Cheerleaders pom-pom are flying away now.
Again, back deep, Dario Jackson and Lipka. Here's the kick. It's a very high, long kick, and it almost goes through the uprights, but it'll go way out of the back of the end zone, and McKinney will start at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
I remember when I was watching the Cotton Bowl a long time ago as a kid, the Tech kicker kicked it right there. I was like, oh, that's got to be a field goal, right? But it's not.
Let's check down on the field with John Leidy for the first time tonight. John, you're in that element. Talk about the wind.
Yes, guys, that wind is very, very gusty, as you can see there on the kickoff. The ball kept falling off the tee, and that's McKinney's not in a favorable position heading into the wind here, so let's send it back up.
All right, thanks a lot, John. 1st and 10 for McKinney, right to left from their own 20-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Brett Helt in the backfield. Lee is going to hand off to Helt initially, and he runs straight up the middle, maybe towards the left guard, and he's going to gain about 6 on 1st down to the 26-yard line.
And Monty, this is exactly what we were talking about in the pregame. This is what we're going to see a lot of for 1 quarter in the first half and 1 quarter in the second half is Brett Helt, maybe a pass.
Split out wide right is Will Rogers, Farley, and then Jackson towards the line. Lipka by himself on the near side. Lee in the backfield along with Choo Helt. Stands about 5 yards in shotgun. Handoff again, Brett Helt. Right guard, this time he's met at the line of scrimmage. There's nothing doing there. Maybe a yard as Scott Reed will make the stop for Highland Park, the defensive tackle, or actually nose guard.
And Monty, that's a good case of what we also made mention of in the pregame show, and that's we think this offensive line will have the advantage against the Highland Park defensive line. It didn't look like Brett gained anything, but in actuality it was almost 2 yards simply because the offensive line got so much push.
3rd and 2 for McKinney, right to left here. Showing blitz is Highland Park. Everybody coming. This is going to be a handoff to Brett Helt. Lowers his head, and I think he has the 1st down at the 30-yard line. It's going to be pretty close. And Kevin McPherson, and along with the line judge, says, yes, it's a 1st down. Scott Reed, the nose guard, again on the stop for Highland Park.
I'm going to give a hint to Highland Park, and you know how much that kind of doesn't fit with my character, but the fair sportsmanship that I am, don't blitz on the outside when Brett Helt's running. They rarely do a sweep or anything like that off tackle. It's up the middle. That's where you want to blitz.
3 receivers to the right and 1 to the near side is Lipka. Same formation, shotgun, and they're going to fake the hand this time. And Lee goes across the middle, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Farley at the 40-yard line, which would have been a 10-yard gain on 1st down. It was a little bit thrown underneath. Farley had to go down, pick it up, and he couldn't bring it in.
Oh, and it's underneath because of the wind, and that's the first pass we've seen tonight, and obviously the wind's going to have a major effect because that's a bread and butter play for those two. They've been doing that for the last year.
McKinney in the gold helmets, the gold pants, and the navy blue uniforms with gold numerals. Highland Park, gold pants, white shirts, blue numerals outlined in gold, and the dark blue navy helmets. 3 receivers again to the right side. 2nd down and 10 for McKinney with 10:22 left to go in the first. Just underway. Showing blitz. Now they back off. Lee's going to run around the left side, and he'll gain 3 or 4 yards up to the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down, and the first big 3rd down here for McKinney tonight.
Yeah, you bet. And that's a good case right there. We haven't seen a whole lot of good linebacking this year. The 9-4A district doesn't have a whole lot of just outstanding linebackers. Highland Park's got some pretty good ones, and right there they read that option play about as good as you can. There was a pitch man on Brett Helt, and the linebackers were quickly on Zach Lee.
Big play. 3rd and 6 against that wind. 3 receivers to the right. Lipka to the left. Shotgun for Lee. Wants it. And he gets it. And he gives to Brett Helt, who's stuck in traffic behind the line, and he's going to lose a couple of yards. Actually 4 yards back to the 31-yard line. A big loss. Highland Park sniffed that one out. And you talk about the linebackers. Murphy Hink, the leading tackler, was right there to make the stop.
And I'll tell you, that puts him in a pickle because the punting game, I mean, you might be lucky to see a 20-yard punt in this win, and I think that's being generous. So not getting a 1st down has big ramifications with that win.
Yeah, this is huge. Both teams score a lot of points in the first quarter. McKinney came in scoring just an enormous amount, 111 in the first quarter this year, and Highland Park 128. Here's Farley on the punt. It's a low line drive kick, not a great one, but a pretty good one against the wind. It's going to be taken at the 50-yard line and knocked down at the 41. And the returner on the punt is going to be Matt Bonanno. 3.38 on the hang time for Farley, which is not bad into this wind.
Yeah, and it's so high because of the wind. It was down low, and it just kept staying up in the air.
19 yards officially on the punt. Kevin McPherson tells us 8:54 left to go in the first. Highland Park and McKinney, no score from Tom Kimbrough Stadium in Murphy.
And Monty, this is exactly what I made mention of. This is great starting field position for the Scots, but it's only because of that punt that they were kicking into the wind.
Woodley in the backfield is the quarterback for Highland Park. Again, 30 touchdowns on the year for Woodley, same as Zach Lee for McKinney. And he'll have Brian Dickinson in the backfield, 2 receivers to either side. Shotgun formation, and Woodley gets it, he bobbles a snap, brings it in, looking to throw, now scrambles out to the right side. Everybody's covered up, still running to the near side, got the 40, 35, 30, and out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. So Woodley, when he didn't find anybody because it was great coverage, he just simply snuck out of the pocket and ran for 15 yards.
Yeah, Colin Zabaski's got to do a better job of keeping contained there because the Highland Park receivers are basically running just streaks down the field, and whenever you do that, no one else is there. That's going to leave a lot of room for the quarterback to run, even a slow one like Woodley.
Morgan Stringer split out wide right for Highland Park, who's going left to right here towards the south end zone. The bad snap goes over the head of Woodley, goes back, and he gets it, and he has to fall down at the 35-yard line. A big loss for Highland Park due to the bad snap right over the quarterback's head.
Monty, I can't tell if that was a run or a pass because it looked like that was a run because of the penetration that the Lions got so quick. But if that was a pass, that was going to be a sack one way or the other because of that deep penetration.
Loss of 9 on the play. Colin Zabaski was there along with Taryn Morris, the 2 defensive ends, right there to make sure Woodley went nowhere. It'll be second down and 19, left to right for Highland Park. 2 receivers to either side. Now showing blitz or showing tight up on the cornerbacks, and this is going to be a handoff up the middle of Dickinson. Lots of running room to the 27, 25, flag down at the 20, and that's where Dickinson will go down at just inside the 20 to the 19. We'll check the flag, but right now it was Ryan Hughes and Quentin Fleming on the stop for McKinney.
Yeah, that was a good play call because I don't think anybody at 2nd and 19 was going to be expecting a run, but you wonder how he was able to get almost all of that back. And it's offsides on McKinney, so the play's going to stand. And my gosh, how do you give him such a break?
15 yards on the play. Brian Dickinson's run went right over, basically in between left guard and center, and he bounced it out to the left. And 15 yards later, now Highland Park is sitting pretty close to a first down at 3rd and 5 with the wind. Woodley wants the ball. Now they look over to the coaching staff. Now they've got the play. Signaling in. 2 receivers either side. Woodley gets it, handoff. Dickinson falls down at the 20. He fell down over the turf. As Kevin McPherson says, self-tackleization. That one he just simply tripped over the turf, or it would have been probably a first down for Highland Park.
Well, it makes you wonder where his shoelace is too long because this is that grassy, rubber turf that technically does or is not supposed to grab you.
Hey, Highland Park's going to go for it on 4th down every time tonight with that wind. Expect it here. 4th and 4 for Highland Park. 7:05 left to go in the first. No score from Tom Kimbrough Stadium. Shotgun. Woodley wants to throw. Now he wants to run. He's got the first down and more to the 10, to the 5, and banged out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Another 15-yard pickup as Ryan Hughes and Jared Johnson will knock him out. Or actually Quentin Fleming. So now it's 1st and goal for Highland Park at the 3-yard line.
He's got 85 rushing yards on the year, 25 in this game. Oh, that's frustrating.
2 receivers to the right, 2 men in the backfield along with Woodley. And Woodley's going to hand off. Dickinson coming near side on the sweep, outside, and he falls down at the 2-yard line. 1.5 maybe. So it'll be 2nd and goal just outside the goal line from left to right. It'd be a huge stop here if McKinney can push him back. But I'm afraid they've got 2 more plays to do it as they go 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Actually, 3 more. 2 backs in the backfield again for Highland Park. This is Woodley, handoff, Dickinson up the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Highland Park. A 2-yard touchdown with 6:16 left to go in the first. And Highland Park scores first tonight with the wind at Tom Kimbrough Stadium.
Yeah, they'll get the win back in the second quarter, but don't expect to see, unless they can get a sustained drive, a whole lot of action going on in that north end zone. And that's all. I mean, that drive was basically set up because the Scots had the wind at their back. You know, a 19-yard punt with a 10-yard return doesn't make much of a difference in field position.
The field goal post is blowing all over the place. Better not get it near the uprights. It might bang out. There's a low kick, and it is no good. The extra point is no good even with the wind. So our score remains 6-0 Highland Park with 6:16 left to go in the first at Tom Kimbrough Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
97.5 KLAK.
Matt Bonanno just missed an extra point for the first time in 25 attempts. He is now 45 out of 49 on PATs as he missed that one. The Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park was 7 plays, 41 yards. It took 2 minutes and 38 seconds off the clock, and it was a 2-yard touchdown by Brian Dickinson, and that brings our score 6-0 again after the missed PAT by Matt Bonanno. Now we're just about ready for the JBS Express kickoff, and this one will assuredly go out of the end zone once again. Big, long, booming kick, and it does. It lands about a yard past the back of the end zone. So McKinney will take over again from their own 20-yard line with 6:16 left to go here in the first. 6-0 Highland Park over McKinney.
The wind must be dying because that one didn't get close to being a field goal.
We'll check down with Jonathan Leidy after this first down play and see what he thinks about this wind that's going on down there. It's amazing. It wasn't like this at 4 o'clock. What happened?
Cold front?
I think so. Shotgun for Lee, moving right to left. McKinney once again. 2 receivers to either side this time. And a handoff, Brett Helt, left guard. And a swarm tackle by Highland Park. Lots of white jerseys there for Highland Park as they know that they're not going to be able to throw a whole lot going into that wind. Charlie Foose, the outside linebacker, was right there first to stop Mr. Choo Helt. Let's check down on the sidelines now with Jonathan Leidy. John, what do you got for us?
Guys, as you can see, Highland Park is actually trying to make a statement there that they too can run. And also, referees are saying the offensive lineman from McKinney need to line up. Back up to y'all. All
right, thanks a lot, John. 2nd down and 8. Lee wants to throw, looking right side over the middle, and it's caught by Will Rogers at the 32, and he spins down for a first down at the 34-yard line. You're going to have to prove that's actually Jared Farley. 13 yards on the pass and catch. You're going to have to prove that you can throw into this wind in order to get people off of Choo Helt.
Yeah, and that's going to mean passes over the middle. Don't expect to see a lot of outs or deeps when you've got the wind at your face. But the good news is that that's one of the strengths of not that there's a big weakness, but that's one of the strengths is the ability to go over the middle. The ball, the referee set the ball, and then the wind moved the ball backwards a few yards. Boy, it's strong.
1st and 10 now for Zach Lee and company, and McKinney 5:19 and rolling in the first. Lee, handoff, Helt, right tackle, running with a full steam, and he passes the 40 to the 42-yard line. A nice 7-yard gain on first down. Scott Reed, the nose guard, makes this stop.
To put it in perspective, they've now gotten 20 yards in 3 plays, and they're now to the point where Highland Park started their last drive. To tell you just kind of what a field possession battle it's going to be here in these, simply because of the wind. And I don't want to feel like I'm harping on it too much, but it is a huge factor.
2nd down and 2 for McKinney. Handoff, Brett Helt, left guard, and he fights his way past the first down marker near midfield to the 46-yard line. It'll be another first down for McKinney. Wow. Choo running at full steam there.
Yeah, I didn't see which Scott made the initial contact, but I'll tell you, he just absorbed all of Brett Helt, and then more of them was coming. They just laid a vicious hit on whoever that was.
20 yards on 7 carries for Brett Helt so far early on in this football game. 6-0 Highland Park, 4:24 and rolling in the first. Lee wants the ball, showing blitz, looking right side down the field, and it's caught by Dario Jackson, trying to take the ball away as Highland Park and they can't do it. It's an 8-yard gain on first down for McKinney. It was Matt Bonanno who gave up the reception, but as Jackson went by, Bonanno put both hands on the ball trying to rip it out. Good job by Jackson to haul it in.
And I'll tell you, I'm especially excited that Jackson did that because this Highland Park defense has the propensity to get turnovers, and that's one of the big ways they do it. They're plus 20 on the year.
2nd down and 2, handoff Helt, and once again, second effort gets him past the first down marker. First down, McKinney inside Highland Park territory at the 42-yard line. 3:44 and rolling in the first. 6-0 Highland Park. Jeff Howarth, the safety on the stop for Highland Park there. 1st and 10 McKinney.
All of a sudden, the Lions are a ball control offense.
Well, you have to be.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just go down the field with this win, but it's kind of funny to see they can play any role.
2 receivers either side. Helt in the backfield. Lee, handoff. No, he fakes the hand, throwing to Farley in the slot, trying to find a block. He runs into the block, the cornerback who was being blocked, and it'll actually still be a 6-yard gain. Charlie Foose, the outside linebacker, over there to make sure Farley goes nowhere, but that was one of those plays. He was trying to read the block of Matt Lipka and either get around the wide receiver, and he read it the wrong way.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. He just didn't see Lipka made his block and was doing exactly what he needed to, and for some reason Farley hesitated and probably lost himself a few yards.
Jackson and Rogers on the right side. Farley and Lipka on the near side. Helt in the backfield. From the 37-yard line of Highland Park, handoff Brett Helt, who just carries everybody with him. Close to a first down. The outside linebacker, Charlie Foose, and Scott Reed, the nose guard, will make the stop. And another first down for McKinney.
It's funny to see you've got all these linemen right here, and they're not giving an inch one way or another. And all of a sudden, Brett Helt hits that pile, and the whole pile moves 4 yards.
4 rushes for first downs for Helt so far tonight, and his idol is Marion Barber, and he runs exactly like him. Exactly. The only thing is he wears the number 30 instead of 24. McKinney showing run blitz, and Lee's sacked in the backfield. He's actually going to stretch up and gain a few yards before he went down, which will get him near the original line of scrimmage, but he's going to lose a yard. And on the sack will be the outside linebacker again. Charlie Foose having the game of his life tonight. The outside right side backer on the stunt, and he was there to meet Lee in the backfield.
Yeah, they came again on the blitz with the 2 outside linebackers coming on each side of the formation. The only difference this time is that McKinney wasn't running the ball, and it looks like we got a penalty on the Scots. My guess is going to be an offsides, and it is. So they replay the down and get 5 yards out of it.
Well, it'll be 2nd down, and it looks like about 5 yards here.
Yeah, because they came on that blitz. It looks like one of them was a bit too anxious to get in the backfield.
Well, hopefully it was Charlie Foose, the guy who's made every tackle so far tonight. He's got to be doing something wrong to make that many tackles. So 2nd down and 5 for McKinney. Right to left, towards the north, end zone, into that wind. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And they swing it out to the right side, and making the catch is Farley. And he'll be near a first down and a flag down from behind, from the back judge. And we'll check and see what that is. Jerome Berglund, the back judge, made the call, and I think it's going to be holding against McKinney.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the back judge. The referee also saw the flag, and generally if those two are in consensus on flag throwing, it's likely to be a holding. And unfortunately, that's what it is. So they go from a 1st and 5 situation now to a 1st and 15.
Wow, you can't do that.
And that's
not against Highland Park. You can't make mistakes like that.
Well, not if you're trying to tie the score. I mean, if you get up 21 points, I'm still not comfortable doing it, but you might get a little bit easier opportunity.
Yeah, Highland Park giving up 21 or being behind 21 doesn't really happen a whole lot.
And the good news, Monty, is they're chewing up time here in this first quarter, which means hopefully the next time the Scots get the ball, they're working into that win too. We'll see what the tables turn.
1:54 and rolling to be exact here in the first. Down 6-0 to Highland Park is McKinney. Lee wants to throw on first down over the middle, caught by Farley at the 25, spins down at the 23-yard line. The ball comes out, but they'll say he's down. 12 yards, needing 2 more for the first down. And it'll be the safety, Justin Cardenas, on the stop for Highland Park. Crucial 3rd and 2 here for McKinney.
Well, it seems like that all at this point Lee's looking for is Farley. He's thrown 1 pass over to Jackson, but he looks like to be the passing workhorse right now.
2 catches for 19 yards for Farley to be exact. It's 3rd and 2 here, and we'll see what McKinney elects to do. There will be no field goals. Not going this side. Lee wants to run with it. He's got the first down and more to the 15-yard line. 8 yards for Zach Lee, who gets it in shotgun and basically runs some kind of a counter play, what looks like. And the safety has to stop him. Jeff Howarth will make the stop, but he had a lot of running room. Once he got past, he made a step towards the left and then a step towards the right, and he had lots of room.
What happened is the Scots defense were keying on Brett Helt, thinking they're in a short situation, and it was Helt who went to the left side, and when Lee took that step too, they were expecting the option, and then Lee, like you said, did that counter and found a huge hole.
11th play of the drive for McKinney. Handoff, Brett Helt up the middle, fighting for yardage, lowers his head and somehow gains 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 at the Highland Park 12-yard line as we're under a minute now, and we're under 30 seconds to be exact. This drive for McKinney has lasted over 5 minutes.
And that's exactly what they needed in this ball control, because like we said at the pregame, we think the running game is going to play a huge factor because that should give McKinney the advantage. They're going to let the clock run out.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Yeah, the wind blowing directly into your face. McKinney is going to elect to take it to the second quarter here, and they're going to be in great shape at the 12-yard line with the wind at their back. Trailing 6-0 to Highland Park at Tom Kimbrough Stadium. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
97.5 KLAK.
The tides have turned, and McKinney will turn around and go with the wind now towards the south end zone at the Highland Park 12-yard line. Three receivers to the right side. Highland Park showing blitz. They're going to fake the hand to Helt, throw across the middle, incomplete, looking for Farley. Farley says he was held. The official says no, it'll be incomplete. And now
I'll say he was held too, Monty. I'm going to go on record on that one.
It'll be Justin Cardenas in coverage on Farley.
I tell you, I didn't know who Zach Lee was throwing to because all I saw was Cardenas.
And that ball was a Brett Favre type of pass. It was about 103 miles an hour coming out of there.
Yeah, this is with that wind, Lee may want to lighten up just a bit because it's also cold and that hurts receivers' hands.
Ball's on the left hash, left to right from the Highland Park 12-yard line. Showing blitz. Lee under pressure, throws across the middle, incomplete again, trying the same pass. And Farley has the ball thrown just a little bit behind him. Again in coverage is the safety Justin Cardenas, and it falls incomplete. So it's 4th down and 7 for McKinney.
Well, Lee was hit as he threw the ball. There was a hand on him. And I think there's some coaching staff who are trying to see why a flag wasn't thrown, thinking that the Lee hit might have been a little excessive. But they're going to kick a field goal, at least attempt a field goal, and, you know, that's one of the reasons why they wanted to let the time run out of the clock, because if they had to kick a field goal, you'd rather do it here.
The ball will be spotted at the 19-yard line, which means a 29-yard field goal attempt for C.J. Gonzalez. Matt Hansen, the holder. The snap's back. It's on the tee. The kick is up. It's long enough, and it's good. 6-3. McKinney gets on the board. They trail Highland Park with 11:45 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Well, the Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap. 13 plays for McKinney. Impressive 68-yard drive. Took 6 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock. And the 29-yard field goal by C.J. Gonzalez makes it 6-3. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. It was only the second field goal by C.J. Gonzalez all year. The other one was 23 yards rather. That one 29. Here's the kickoff, and it's not going to be as long as Bonanno's from a moment ago. It's going to be taken at the 2-yard line. Coming up the left hash to the 20. Look out, lots of room, 30, 35, 40. In trouble at the 45, escapes a defender, and Matt Bonanno is finally going to go down. Finally, after 4 or 5 more surges, to the 41-yard line in McKinney territory. A 53-yard return, finally stopped by Will Rogers.
Well, the good news is that they're going to say his forward progress was stopped at the 45, but boy, if he could have gotten 5 more yards out of that one.
Kick it in the end zone.
I think they were trying. I think he just ran out of leg. But like I say, if he could have gotten 5 more yards out of that, it's a touchback. And, man, they set up the wedge beautifully on that one, Monty.
Wow, it was very impressive. 1st and 10 for Highland Park. Now moving right to left against that wind. Second straight possession in McKinney territory for Highland Park. Handoff up the middle. Dickinson, lots of room. Up to the 40. Spins out of a tackle and can't finally spin out of the last tackle, which is going to be Dominic Gardner on the stop.
And I hate to say it at this point, but we need the defense to step it up here, and that's not been a strong suit this year.
7 yards on first down, brings up second down and 3 with 11:10 left to go in the second quarter. We'll check down with John Leidy after this play. Second down and 3, and Woodley's going to run on second down. He has the first down to the 30, trying to find the far sideline, 25-20, and tackled out of bounds at about the 16 of McKinney. And it's Dominic Gardner on the stop again after a 17-yard gain by Highland Park. John, you're down on the sidelines. That wind has got to be playing tricks with both teams, isn't it?
The wind is playing tricks. Both teams are wanting to run here, and Luke Woodley showing that he can run the ball here for Highland Park. But something right before the kick by C.J. Gonzalez, there was a big gust of wind on that field goal attempt, and without that big gust of wind, he would not have made that. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. I thought it was long enough.
Yeah.
He's got a better look than we do, apparently. Here's Luke Woodley, and he's going to hand off Dickinson left side. He is into the end zone. Touchdown, Highland Park. 14 yards, right up the gut, and they don't care about the wind. It's 12-3.
Where's this running game been all year? Of course, and like I say, I hate to say it's going to come down to it, but McKinney's defense, they have a hard time stopping a lot of the offenses they play.
Going for 2 here is Highland Park.
And we talked about that before the broadcast, that you probably will see in this end of the field 2-pointers.
Man in motion. Woodley under center, rolling right.
Oh, no.
Looking backside, and all alone, and is going to make the catch. And the 2-point conversion is good. Trying to find the reception. It's Austin Mai who made the reception. And he actually made it at the 1, and he strolls in. So now it's 14-3. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney with 10:44 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
The ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
Welcome back to Tom Kimbrough Stadium. Monty Walker and the rest of the gang here. The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap, 3 plays and 45 yards for Highland Park. Took 1 minute and 1 second off the clock, and it was capped off by a 14-yard touchdown by Brian Dickinson, his second touchdown of the night. The 2-point conversion was a pass from Woodley to Austin Mai, and that brings our score 14-3 Highland Park. As the scoreboard says 13-3, but I think they still count those as 2 points. And Highland Park on the JBS Express kickoff is going to squib it down, and Rogers will take it at the 35-yard line, and they'll actually mark it at the 33. So that's where McKinney will start off, moving left to right with the wind, with 10:44 left to go here in the second quarter, trailing Highland Park 14-3.
Well, with the squib kick, you'd expect Will Rogers to pick that one up and run, but he fielded that on a knee, so there was no chance at a return. And even with the wind at their back, relatively speaking, they're starting with not that great field position.
Kevin McPherson says they got some East Texas math going on at Tom Kimbrough as it's on the scoreboard, 13-3. 2 receivers to either side for McKinney. Standing at their own 33-yard line. Left to right, Lee is going to fake the hand, looking downfield. The ball is tipped and still caught by Matt Lipka for 10 yards and a first down. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it was an end-over-end pass that Lipka ended up grabbing, and another first down.
Those are mistakes that you can make when you got the wind at your back.
Let's check down with Jonathan Leidy on the sidelines. John, we'll come down to you right after this play. It'll be 1st and 10. Once again for McKinney, left to right. 2 receivers either side. Now at the 44-yard line. Showing blitz is Highland Park. Everybody's coming. Lee throws under pressure, and it's almost caught by Will Rogers, but he couldn't hang on at the 45-yard line of Highland Park territory. Now we'll check down with John Lighty. John, what you got for us?
Two quick things. As you've seen Highland Park kick the ball off there, they just squib kick it because there was no way they were going to be able to kick it up in the wind. And the second thing is the McKinney offense tried to stay on the field and ate up a bunch of the clock just to keep the ball out of the Highland Park offense hands. And you just see what happens when they get the ball back in their hands. They score in 2 or 3 plays. We're going to send it back up.
All right, thanks a lot, John. It'll be 2nd down and 10 now after the incomplete pass from Lee to Rogers. Ball at their own 44-yard line. And McKinney, Zach Lee wants it, handoff. Nope, he wants to throw again. Down the field, right side, almost loses the ball, now throws it. Jackson can't make the catch. And a nice job of actually knocking the ball down as a flag comes down. Brandon's going to say ineligible receiver.
No, Kevin's saying that. I'm saying it's going to be a defensive hold because there was somebody all over. In fact, you could probably say both receivers out there, both Jackson and Will Rogers, and I think that's what they're discussing.
Well, Zach Lee,
and they're
first
moving
of all,
it, so yeah.
Zach Lee did a great job of just holding on to the football.
They're making a pass interference or face mask.
So neither one of you were right.
Contact one way or the other.
But Lee did a great job of hanging on to the football and getting that one away because he had all kinds of pressure coming from the backside, and I just knew that ball was going to pop out. But he secured it and threw it down the field.
He's a pretty smart quarterback. You just got to give him credit for that.
16 yards on the penalty, and now McKinney will have the ball at the Highland Park 41-yard line. Jackson split out wide to the right side and Lipka wide to the left. This is going to be a handoff. Brett Hout, lots of running room up the middle, and he fights and fights and fights, and he has 7 yards on first down at the 39-yard line. Joey Landis on the stop, the right tackle, and also the outside linebacker, Will Andrews for Highland Park. We're at 9:53 in the second quarter. Highland Park's leading 14-3.
It's not a coincidence that the Lions have the wind at their back and there's less Scott defenders crowding the line of scrimmage, making it easier for Brett Helt to get bigger yards.
Jackson near side, Lipka far side. And Lee wants to throw across the middle. Will Rogers makes the catch at the 24, fighting. The 6'4" inside slot receiver is finally knocked down, but he's going to have forward progress to the 23-yard line, which is 11 yards and obviously enough for the first down.
You heard the whistles there, but that play kept going for a couple more seconds till it ended with Will Rogers getting pounded to the ground. That could be real borderline to an unnecessary roughness.
Zach Lee, 5 out of 9, 49 yards. Handoff Helt up the middle, and he squirts through, flag down at the line of scrimmage. Helt got to the 19, but this one's probably coming back.
Yes. Well, I think it might be offsides because that came out right as the ball was snapped.
We'll check and see. Nothing. Well, they're marking it back, so it'll be offsides against McKinney.
How does that happen?
Illegal procedure, rather.
Guess they were in the neutral zone. And sometimes the receivers, they'll try to crowd that line of scrimmage as much as they can. And in the neutral zone, no one can put it in except the center and the football.
2 penalties for 15 yards against McKinney. 1st and 15 from their own 28. 2 receivers all bunched together on either side. Helt in the backfield. And Lee rolling out right, throwing across the middle. Has Rogers again fighting out of 2 tacklers but can't do it. It is a 7-yard gain to the 21-yard line.
Yeah, not bad for 1st and 15. You get half of the back right there. And, looks like Will might be a little bit afraid of contact right there, but I don't know that necessarily he is, because he's one of those guys who loves going over the middle and taking that hit, but he makes the catch almost every time.
2nd down and about 8. Lee wants to throw left side over the middle. Farley can't make it. In and out of his hands and incomplete.
For number 14, Jared Farley.
Well, watching that play, and again, they being the Scots coming on a blitz, and Lee let it go. And then a linebacker came in and shoved him to the ground. It's getting real borderline, and that might want to be careful because things like that can tend to get chippy after a while.
1 out of 3 on 3rd downs.
And right now it looks like the Lions just trying to hang on to this one. 3rd and 8 now. They need to get 8 yards, and conceivably this could be 2-down territory, Monty.
3rd down and 8. Lee, left side fade for Lipka in the end zone. Up, and it is incomplete. 7 yards deep in the end zone, incomplete.
You're kidding me. Lipka jumps in the air, and you can clearly see his momentum's being shoved, and there's no flags.
Well, it'll be 4th down and 8 now.
I know I've got a Highland Park anti-bias working here, and I know I could say, hey, that should be a flag, and a lot of times it's not. But the guy was in the air, and he was shoved. How on earth does that not get called?
Well,
God, that's obvious as it gets.
4th and 8. And McKinney's going to go for it. No safety. Lee drops back 2 steps, steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be sacked at the 26-yard line. Lee goes down in traffic, and now Highland Park will take over at their own 26-yard line. Wow.
I'm steaming, Monty.
Works with you to determine a treatment.
I got to make sure I'm okay.
Your care, your beautiful new smile.
Loss of 4 on the play for
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a turnover on downs, and that's what matters most, and it's because a penalty wasn't called.
North Texas Orthodontic Association.
And then we get a penalty called on it. Come on.
Call 972-548-7005.
Yeah, there's a 15-yard penalty on the line.
Texas Star Bank opens
What's the
its
penalty
doors with
total,
one
Kevin?
purpose, to meet the financial needs of our customers.
3 for 30 for McKinney. What about the Scots?
As we come back now, McKinney just went for it on 4th down, 4th and 8, and Zach Lee was sacked. So Highland Park will take over after a penalty on McKinney. Highland Park will have it at their own 40-yard line. Moving right to left, 8:12 left to go. Highland Park leading 14-3 over McKinney. Handoff, Dickinson right side being drugged down from behind by Taryn Morris, who makes the stop. A great play by the defensive end from the right side. And that'll be 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain.
They're going to need a lot more play from their defensive line, because as it is, it looks like the Highland Park offensive line is having their way with whoever they're blocking.
3 receivers near side for Highland Park. Dickinson in the backfield along with Luke Woodley, who's in shotgun formation. He wants it, gets it, handoff near side, reverse all the way to the far side. He's got the 45, the 50, and he may be gone. 30, 25, 20. And he's out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Josh Francis on the reverse all the way down to the 3. Actually, they'll mark him at the 4. 55 yards, knocked out of bounds by Jared Johnson.
That's Colin Zabaski right there, the sophomore defensive end. As a defensive end, you have to make sure you stay at your station, and he let that one get right by.
There is a flag. There's a flag. And it's at the line of scrimmage. Check this one out. This one's coming back, Brandon.
Good. So the same penalty that hurt McKinney when they were inside the red zone. It's an illegal procedure, but it's offsetting because McKinney committed a penalty. So you replay the down from the same spot. So take it all back. And I tell you, that's a huge break because that puts them in a chance to go up 21-3, and that's against this team. That's a tough mountain.
2nd down and 9. Yeah, that would be huge. It would be a wind or no wind.
Yeah.
They could have the win the rest of the game, and that would be tough.
So you really need a defensive stop along that same train of thought right here.
Again, 2nd down and 9 for Highland Park from their own 41-yard line. A huge break, wiping out the 55-yard reverse to Francis. All right, 3 receivers to the right side for Highland Park. Dickinson to the left of Woodley, who wants to throw right over the middle, and it's caught for a 1st down and drugged down by 3 gold hats of McKinney. And on the catch for Highland Park will be Chris Hips. 17 yards on the pass and catch. Hips came in tonight, 17 catches, 201 yards on the season. Make it 218 now.
You know, some of those yards were after the carry, but it was like 2 or 3, and somehow the Scots can find a way to pass and out downfield 15 yards. That you got to get pressure on the guy. Got to see some blitzes or something.
7:07 on the 2nd quarter clock. 14-3, Highland Park in the lead. Woodley drops back 3 steps, looks left side, wants to throw, and it's caught. And out of bounds goes Hips again, and another 1st down at the 31-yard line in McKinney territory. And they're just picking it apart, even against the wind.
Well, I think Luke Woodley's setting up a tent, campfire, roasting some s'mores. He's making himself at home back there in the pocket. No one's even getting close to him. The only time he's been touched today is when he's 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. That defensive line has to get pressure because this Scott quarterback will pick you apart if you don't.
30 touchdowns on the season for Luke Woodley.
You know?
He's showing why. 3 receivers to the right. Woodley, handoff. Dickinson, another reverse coming near side this time. Lots of room. Looking for a block. Gets it to the 15, to the 10, and down at the 5-yard line. Is that Francis again? And it is. Francis will go down at the 5-yard line after a 25-yard gain. Jordan Kilwine, the linebacker, will make the stop. It's the same play as a moment ago, just to the near side instead of the far.
Yeah, and I think Jamal Fee did a fantastic job because, again, the defensive ends aren't doing their job and keep it contained. And Jamel just basically took out 2 blockers at the knees and forced Foster to go inside where pursuit was. Good job.
Hip splits out to the near side, 2 men in the backfield. Glasscock along with Brian Dickinson. Wadley wants it. He's going to hand off this time. That's not Glasscock. Into the end zone goes Brooks McElhenney. McElhenney scores from 3 yards out. And Highland Park's on the board again.
And that looked easy. I hate to say it, but you thought, okay, good, they got the penalty, it's coming back.
And the scoreboard is still kind of messed up here.
Yeah, if I was, well, the referees have the ultimate score. The scoreboard is a fan luxury, and it's not the official score.
Yeah, it's actually 20-3 right now, Highland Park. Bonanno on for the extra point, and he does bang this one too. 21-3, Highland Park in the lead. 6:26 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap. 5 plays, 60 yards for Highland Park. 1:50 off the clock. And the capper is a 5-yard touchdown by Brooks McElhenney. And after the Bonanno extra point, makes it 21-3, Highland Park in the lead with 6:26 left to go in the second quarter here from Tom Kimbrough Stadium in Murphy, Texas, part of the Plano ISD. Dario Jackson and Lipka will stand not as far as they were on the other side. They're about the 18-yard line here. And another pooch kick, and Will Rogers is going to fall on it again at the 36-yard line. So McKinney will take over, moving left to right on the JBS Express kickoff from their own 36.
As a quick aside, coming into the stadium, there's a picture of Tom Kimbrough with his win-loss record, Monty. And I tell you, that's got to be one of the most impressive win-loss records I've ever seen. 171-28. That's how you get a stadium named after you.
Well, you look at Randy Allen, and for Highland Park, he's won 15-12 at Highland Park. That is unbelievable.
No kidding. And he wasn't too shabby at Abilene Cooper either.
Overall, he's 268, 71, and 6. That's incredible. Handoff, Brett Hout, left tackle, looking for room, trying to break out, has a first down at the 46-yard line. A late flag comes in after the play, and we'll have to check and see what it is. Maybe a face mask.
Our spotter says it's a face mask, but I'm wondering if it's a late hit because Helt was on the way down, and one of the safeties came up and lowered his shoulder. Either way, we're looking at a 15-yarder.
Jared Foyt. Foyt was right. Our spotter says face mask, and it was. 11 yards on the carry, and tack on another 15, and McKinney's in business. And really, the Lions have to score here to stay in this football game.
You're right, Monty. I don't see any other way around it.
21-3, Highland Park in the lead. We'll check down with Jonathan Leidy. John, what do you got for us real quick?
Guys, I think the McKinney Lions are going to score right here. That's our guy. You can come back to me in a minute.
I think we caught him off guard.
All right, 1st and 10, left to right with the wind towards the south. Jackson in motion. And on the swing pass, Lee hits him. And he's got the ball to the 35 and spun out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. And no flag on the play. Brandon up here gesturing that there should have been another penalty there.
Well,
Matt Bonanno, the guy who flung him out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm overreacting. And I turned around as soon as the play was over. And I told you I think I'm overreacting. It was a fair tackle. He got slung to the ground. It's definitely illegal, and it definitely is a legal play.
2nd down and 6 for McKinney. After the 4-yard swing pass to Dario Jackson. 2 receivers either side for McKinney. Brett Helt in the backfield. Ball at the 34. Lee throws over the middle, and it's intercepted at the 25-yard line. And they're going to actually whistle the play dead, and I'm not sure why they did that. Now another flag comes out at the very end.
He's
Somebody said something.
Yeah, the back.
It's Matt Bonanno who's talking to the official. Matt Bonanno is going to be charged with a personal foul.
The back judge threw his flag and was staring straight at Bonanno. That's how you know something was said.
But initially, the ball was tipped over the middle. Lee was looking for a receiver over the middle. The ball was tipped up and then intercepted. It was actually, he was trying to hit Will Rogers. The ball was picked off by the safety, Justin Cardenas, but some reason,
can you make
the whistles blew.
Can you make the claim that he was down? I can't think of what they were.
I have no idea why they blew the whistle.
I don't think a knee was close to being touched. Do you?
We all heard the whistle.
Oh yeah, no, there's no question it was blown.
And Matt Bonanno blew up right after that. And Bonanno got another flag.
Well, we saw 3 flags come in right as the whistles were blown. So we know something happened right there. And I don't know of a penalty that immediately stops play. There isn't one.
Well, it was a tip ball. So you can't call it a...
Yeah, there was no pass interference if it was tipped. Did they think it was incomplete?
I'm not sure. The officials are still talking.
Well, I tell you, for a playoff game, I'm not impressed so far.
5 officials still talking. We got to be careful here with the UIL, especially in the playoffs. You can't criticize officials. And we'll check and see what the call is going to be there. They're backing it right now. They're marking the ball towards the end zone, meaning that's the 15-yarder for against Highland Park. They're going to spot the ball at the 15-yard line.
And the offense is still on the field, so they'll keep possession. What a strange...
Maybe we can check down with John Leidy after this play and clear some of this up for us.
So they said pass interference on the defense, and then they said after dead ball is personal foul, and that should be 2 penalties marked off then.
Well, the ball's at the – they did.
They did?
And the ball's at the 15. 5:54 left to go here in the second. Highland Park in the lead, 21-3. McKinney knocking at the door after the big penalty at the 15-yard line of Highland Park, who's showing blitz. And they're going to hand off to Brett Helt. Beats the blitz to the 5. It is touchdown time in Texas. Choo-choo Helt from 15 yards out. And you can stick that one directly up your bagpipe. Brett Helt scores.
Best way to beat the blitz is have them miss 1 tackle, because after that, and they were coming, they brought the house. I think there was 2 safeties back there maybe. And Brett Helt, I tell you, I shudder to think of the safety who tries to tackle that guy at the high school level.
C.J. Gonzalez on for the extra point. It's up, and it is true. 21-10. That looks a little better. Highland Park still in the lead, but McKinney scores. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
0.5 KLAK.
The very happy McKinney Lions. Mike's Economy's transmission scoring drive recap. 3 plays, 64 yards for the Lions. 37 seconds off the clock. And after the 15-yard touchdown by Choo-Choo Helt, it's 21-10 Highland Park. Ball's going to be taken at the 2-yard line. Once again, Bonanno, lots of room. Up to the 35, trying to find the outside 40. Got the 45 to the 50. Trying to find the far side. Spins out of a tackle to the 35-yard line in McKinney territory, and that's absolutely killing the McKinney Lions. You cannot give up big returns like that, and Bonanno does it again. Prescott Mack finally makes the stop.
Wow.
65 yards on the return.
That's just... Mon, let me tell you, if you want to find a recipe for disaster, give Highland Park a short field.
You've got to find a way to stop doing that, whether you kick it on the ground, or a pooch kick or something.
At this point, I'm all for a squib kick.
So Highland Park will have it at the McKinney 33-yard line. Moving right to left against the wind. Handoff Dickinson up the middle. And not much there, maybe 3. Well, he squirts 3 for 4 yards somehow to the 29-yard line. And on the stop for McKinney will be Ryan Levins and also DeJuan Swinney. We'll check down We'll check down with Jonathan Lighty. John, what do you got for us?
Guys, call it what you want, but I don't think there's anybody here in the stadium that wouldn't agree with me when they said the game should be 21-21 right now, as the McKinney Lions have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit here. Back up to y'all.
All right, 2nd down and 6. Thanks, John. Woodley in the gun, sends 3 receivers to the near side. He'll back up now. And he backs up 3 steps, looking to throw. Left side, wide open over the middle, and it's going to be caught at the 1 and in for the touchdown. Austin Mai, 29 yards for the score from Luke Woodley. And just like that, Highland Park back on the board. 4:48 left to go in the second.
Throwing into the wind like that, that ball died. All Travis Tarver had to do was turn around, and he could have made a leap to knock that one away. You know, I mean, we've talked about it. The defense has been the Achilles heel of this team. They score 64 points and lose in one game. And against Highland Park, in that win, you think you've got an advantage. You got to figure out a way to do those small intangibles.
Bonanno on for the extra point. And field position, the return has killed him twice now. Here's Bonanno, and his extra point against the wind is up, and it's good. It's a good kicker. So that makes our score 28-10. Highland Park in the lead with 4:48 left to go in the second. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Locally owned and operated.
We're clear, guys.
Gene, can you give us an update on the Sherman and Denison scores?
Okay, so we had a
Just give me a moment
65-yard
No
return.
worries.
Well, and that was before the Brooks. Before the. Okay, I got
Sherman
you.
trailing Richardson Pierce 17-14, and last I checked, Denison was ahead 6-3.
Okay, 6-3. And what was the Sherman Pierce score?
To learn more,
20
visit our website
Sherman
or
Pierce
one of
was
our
14 to
convenient
13
locations.
Pierce.
You'll see
Make
why
that
we have
13-3.
successfully served our customers
13 to
for
3
nearly
Pierce?
120 years.
Visit us at texasstarbank.com. Member
Hold on, I'll
FDIC.
check back with you guys later.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park. 2 plays, 33 yards. The big play of the drive was the return by Bonanno, 65 yards to set him up in good field position. It was a Luke Woodley to Austin Mai 29-yard touchdown that got him on the board. 28-10, Highland Park leads with 4:48 left to go in the second. Here's a JBS Express kickoff. It's going to be taken by Lipka at his 15-yard line, and he'll make his way up to the 19. Great coverage by Highland Park. And McKinney will start at their own 19-yard line. They'll actually mark it at the 20. So a long way to go with the wind at their back for McKinney with 4:35 left to go in the second. Down 28-10 to Highland Park.
Going back. Oh,
No doubt McKinney is just going to have to score right here on this possession. Every possession they need to score now.
Yeah, you bet. They're down 18, and it goes back to one of the philosophies that I have. You need to win 2 of the 3 offense, defense, special teams, and right now I don't think McKinney's winning a single one of them.
22 years ago tonight, the McKinney Lions scored 68 on Saginaw Boswell on their way to the state championship game. They might need another 68. 22 years ago from the date. Man in motion is Farley. He'll stop just outside the tackle, and now Lee wants to throw the deep ball down the right side. Jackson, and he overshot him by about 3 yards, and the ball falls incomplete. We were talking during the break. I was telling Kevin McPherson that at some point we're going to see that. Dario Jackson just throwing the fly route, but Lee just missed him. And he's got the wind at his back. That's probably a ball that he connects without the wind, but that gives him just a little bit more oomph.
Yep.
And he overshot him by about 3 yards. It'll be second down and 10.
The wind giveth and the wind taketh away.
Rogers and Dario Jackson to the near side, and Farley and Lipka split out wide left. Brett Choo-Choo helped in the backfield. And now Rogers will go in motion. He'll stop outside the tackle. Lee wants to throw. Looking left side. Pumps. Now he's in trouble and fires it out for Farley, and it's incomplete and almost intercepted at the 42-yard line. And that was the safety back there, or the cornerback rather, Stephen Bailey, who was in pursuit of Jared Farley. The ball was well overthrown. I think Lee was trying to just throw it away, and Bailey almost came up underneath it.
I think he was actually going for Farley, and the wind got him again, because that was about those 3 yards off earlier. And Monty, one of the things that Highland Park's doing well that McKinney's not, that's getting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, right now, this is the most uncomfortable I've seen Zach Lee all year.
4:23 left to go in the second. McKinney trailing Highland Park 28-10. Lee wants to throw again, left side, and he is incomplete. I think the ball was tipped again at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Actually, Kevin McPherson tells me that he threw out and the receiver actually turned in.
Yep.
So a little miscommunication from Zach Lee and Matt Lipka there. And it'll be 4th down and punt time for McKinney. As you know, this entire drive just did not turn out the way you expected. You went for the home run ball on 1st down, came up empty, and it didn't go any better on 2nd, 3rd, and now 4th.
Well, 2nd and 3rd were just breakdowns.
Here's Farley's punt. It's a low wobbly kick, going to be taken by Bonanno at this 38-yard line. Trying to find the right side. He escapes one defender, flag down, and now Bonanno goes down at the 44. That may be a face mask, not sure.
Yeah, one of the main flag I saw was a Travis Tarver block in the back. I didn't see who did it, but that was about as obvious as you can get.
Exactly 3 seconds on the hang time for Jared Farley, and it was a 42-yard punt. So Highland Park right now has the ball at their own 44-yard line. They've yet to walk off. And are they waving it off?
No, there's no way.
Okay.
Like I said, you might be able to find a block in the back a little bit more obvious than that one, but it'd be hard to find.
Hey, that's a big penalty because Highland Park's going to have to start from their own 30 this time instead of at McKinney's 30. 3 men to the near side for Highland Park, 1 to the right. It'll be Dickinson in the backfield along with Luke Woodley. And he's going to hand off up the middle. That's Dickinson. Big hole to the left side and drugged down at the 35-yard line. A 5-yard gain. Good thing for Motherwell. Joseph Blockeray and Taryn Morris. Actually, it was Kilwine who brought him down. Thank goodness for Kilwine, or that would have been a humongous hole.
Wow.
51 yards on 9 carries for Brian Dickinson so far in the first half. 3:36 left to go in the half. 28-10 Highland Park over McKinney. Woodley in the gun. 3 receivers to the right. Drops back, looks that way. Under pressure now. Taryn Morris from behind. Is he going to chase him down? Actually, he gets it away and he throws it out of bounds. Woodley throws it out of bounds, and they'll get Morris on a late hit out of bounds on Woodley.
Boy,
just cannot do that.
I'm glad that what the coaches next to us are saying is getting muffled through the glass, because they're not happy. And you know what? They've got every reason to be not. You're about to put Highland Park at a 3rd and 5 inside their own 35 for the first time this game, and you give them 15 yards. And that's not even from the sophomore defense. That's from the senior in this game.
4 penalties for 45 yards for McKinney. And it'll be 1st down for Highland Park right at the midfield stripe. Moving right to left. 3:22 left to go in the second quarter. Leading McKinney 28-10.
You said this is November 14th, right? Because it seems like it's Christmas Day and McKinney's giving Highland Park a lot of presents.
Yep. 3 receivers come near side. 1 to the far for Highland Park against the wind here. And Luke Woodley wants to throw, and he has his man Austin Mai, who makes the catch, and he spins out of 5 tackles to the 30, to the 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Highland Park. 50 yards on this. It's a hitch pass is what it is underneath. He caught it about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, had to duck everybody, including the back judge, and he squirts free into the end zone.
And at least half the defense had a chance to tackle him somewhere on the field.
Unbelievable.
Boy, that guy made it look good. Made it look easy. Again, go back to that penalty.
Mistakes and penalties have really cost McKinney. whether it be the kick return team or just the really dumb penalty. And here's Bonanno on for the extra point. Thought I heard whistles before it got underway.
I thought I did too, but
they're going to say no good. Bonanno misses another extra point. He came in having hit 24 in a row.
At least that one was into the wind, though.
So 34-10, Highland Park in the lead with 3:10 left to go before the half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Would you like to improve your landscaping? You can trust the good folks at...
All right, drive.
We're clear, guys.
Oh
Scores I got. Denison leading Royce City 13-10 in the second quarter. Richardson Pierce 24-14 over Sherman in the second.
Whoa.
And it's 34-10. Okay, what's the scores there, Brandon?
13-10 Denison over Royce City, and Pierce 24-14 over Sherman. I don't think I saw that one coming.
And Rockwall Heath blowing out Frisco Centennial 42-0. 30 seconds, stand by.
Did you hear the Centennial
Texas
score?
and online access to your account. American Bank of Texas is everywhere you are.
In the second,
this is our turf.
Heath
American
over
Bank
Centennial.
is your bank. Visit us online at
4 out of 4. This is Woodley. 4 out of 4. 2 touchdowns.
That's American Bank of
108 yards.
Texas. Member FDIC.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park. 2 plays, 70 yards, a minute 11 off the clock. It was a 50-yard touchdown swing pass from Luke Woodley to Austin Mai. And after the missed extra point brings our score 34-10. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. Here's the JBS Express kickoff going to be taken by Matt Lipka at his own 15, spinning, and finally brought down about the 30-yard line, a 15-yard return for Matt Lipka, and McKinney will take over at their own 30, moving left to right with 3:03 left to go in the second quarter, trailing Highland Park 34-10. Scores to pass along, Brandon.
Yeah, you bet. Looking at our fellow district mates, Denison 13-10 over Royce City. That one's in the second quarter. And Pierce actually leading Sherman. Kind of surprised by this one, 24-14. That one's in the second. And then really no surprise in this one. Rockwall Heath 42-0 over Centennial.
Yeah,
maybe proof that you shouldn't do a 14 playoff.
Here's Lee throwing the ball. It's tipped again by the outside linebacker running out. And he was trying to hit Lipka. And it's once again Charlie Foose who got his right paw up there and knocked that ball up in the air. Let's check down with Jonathan Leidy on the sidelines. John, what do you got for us? Go ahead.
Guys, I would put money on it. The Highland Park fans have built a windscreen in the north end zone for the last two drives as the wind has died down when Highland Park's got the ball and it picked up when McKinney's got the ball. So back up to y'all.
2:59. Here's a handoff. Brett Helt met in the backfield. Nothing doing there. Brett Helt hadn't gotten the ball in a while, and he got it there, and it was not successful. A loss on the play. Scott Reed, the nose guard, read that one really nicely.
Yeah, and you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive coordinator for Highland Park. Right now, they're just calling plays, and by the way, that coordinator would be Mark Howitt. They're just calling plays, and for whatever reason, they always seem to be right where McKinney is trying to go. I mean, you look at the blitz for the Brett Helt touchdown, and that might be the aberration.
Well, there's a timeout on the field taken by Highland Park. We'll take one, too. 2:49 left to go in the second quarter. Highland Park leading 34-10. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. McKinney has the ball at their own 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 12. As the Lions send 2 receivers out either side, showing blitz is Highland Park. Lee wants to throw the ball down the field for Lipka, who makes a great catch at the 40, at the 50, 45-40, being drugged down and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. A great catch on the first part of that play by Lipka, and then another great job of getting away. And 48 yards on the pass and catch.
This is exactly what the Lions need to do, because right now it seems like the Scots can blitz at will. And anytime you allow a defense to do that, you're setting yourself up for a big play if you can just follow your fundamentals, and that's exactly what happened. A simple pass catch turned into a big game.
Farley goes in motion, will stand outside. He wants to block, and he does. And this is a catch by Dario Jackson at the 21, and making his way upfield. It's touchdown time in Texas! Zach Lee to Dario Jackson, 34 yards on the touchdown strike. And it's 34-16 awaiting the PAT.
Again, they came on a blitz. They didn't send as many people, but the main thing that happened, well, there's really two main things. Somehow Jackson, the man in coverage on that play, Matt Bonanno, slipped, and that's not the first time we've seen a Scott player slip on this field, and that led Jackson one-on-one, and then Will Rogers put down a fantastic block.
The snap is back, the kick is up, and it hits the crossbar, the upright rather, and bounces out. It hit the right upright and bounces out. Again, those crossbars and uprights are moving a little bit because of the wind. That one nailed it directly, and it's 34-16 after the missed PAT by C.J. Gonzalez. 2:35 left to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
KLAK.
Welcome back to Tom Kimbrough Stadium. The Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap for McKinney. 4 plays and 60 yards. It was a Zach Lee to Dario Jackson 34-yard touchdown strike that gave McKinney the score. It's 34-16 after the missed PAT. Highland Park in the lead. Here's a pooch kick and a bounce, and this time McKinney does a great job of tracking the ball carrier down. That was Austin Mai on the return and Joseph Blackaray on the stop.
Yeah, they brought in a new kicker for that one, Blake Burdett. And what they did, there was the group around the line that was between basically the 45 and the 30, and then the deep returners back at the 5. And all Burdett did was hit it in the middle, and once the ball hits the ground, you lose your steam. And that really limited the return. And then finally the coverage team goes down and makes a tackle when they needed it to. This is the worst field position, I believe, that the Scots have started with all night.
1st and 10 from their own 24 with 2:31 left to go before half. Woodley rolls out right, wanting to throw. He's only thrown one incompletion so far tonight, and he makes another pass, another completion there. And that's going to be, that will be his receiver, Stringer, making the catch. It'll be a first down at the 40. Nice 16-yard gain there for Highland Park on first down. Moving into the wind with 2:24 left to go before half.
At this point, I think a turnover is needed.
Woodley rolls out left side, looking near side, and he throws, and it's caught once again and popped and knocked out of bounds. Goes the ball carrier, Will Glasscock, out of the backfield. It's going to be Jamel Fee on the stop for McKinney. Let's check down real quick with Jonathan Leidy. John, what do you got for us?
Guys, if you notice that Blake Burdett kicked off on that kickoff there, there's nothing wrong with C.J. Gonzalez. They just decided to change kickers with the tough luck there on that extra point. Back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John Leidy. First down and 10 for Highland Park. Woodley rolling out right. Still only one incomplete pass, and wide open is his receiver. And that once again is Stringer, who was wide open for the first down. He goes down at the 30. Clock will roll at 2:05 as soon as they can move the sticks. They're taking the time moving the sticks here. Clock stopped at 2:05. 17 yards on the pass and catch from Woodley to Stringer. Woodley coming into this drive was 4 out of 5, 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. First and 10 at the McKinney 32.
What?
Woodley, right side, down the field, wanting to throw it deep down, and it's caught, and into the end zone. Is he in? Touchdown, Highland Park. 32 yards on the fade route from Woodley to Stringer.
Boy, and Woodley put that right where Stringer and only Stringer could get it. Prescott Mack was playing, I'm not going to say great coverage, but it was pretty decent to good. And turned around, even saw the ball and couldn't make the play simply because Woodley put it where no one else could get it. And that's the thing, when you play this team, you got to be on your game. And you can't afford to give them gifts. And if you got to go toe-to-toe, you got to go toe-to-toe. That's why it's so frustrating for us to see the McKinney offense that should be doing a lot better than this make simple, silly mistakes that are costing them competitiveness in this game.
Bonanno on for the extra point. This one looks like it is true, and it is. So now 41-16. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney with $1:49 left to go before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Now back to Monty Walker and McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park. 4 plays, 66 yards, 46 seconds off the clock. It was Luke Woodley's 3rd touchdown pass of the night. This one to Stringer, 32 yards. And this is going to be Matt Lipka on the JBS Express kickoff. He'll take it at his 10 and make his way up to the 40-yard line. A 30-yard return by Matt Lipka with a $1:41 left to go here in the second quarter. And McKinney needs to get on the board. Again, 41-16, Highland Park in the lead.
I think there's something to what John said. You look at the wind. It said it seemed to be favoring Highland Park, and then McKinney gets the ball and the winds roll gusty again. Look how almost dead those flags are on the goalpost comparatively, and now they get able to kick it down to the 10. I mean, that's pure luck. Yeah,
you remember the game they had against McKinney North a couple of years ago where the ball bounced off Michael Scott's head and went right to Ryan O'Dwyer, who went straight into the end zone. That's pure luck. Here's Lee wanting to throw down the field. Lipka makes the catch at the 38 and goes down at the 33. Nice pass and catch. 1:36 on the clock. It'll start when they move the chains. 27 yards on the reception for Lipka.
I have Vietnam-like flashbacks of that play. I wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night with that play running through my head and don't know where I am.
I didn't know you were in Nam.
No, just similar.
Okay, here's Lee stepping up in the pocket, under pressure and sacked. And a timeout will be called. Let's see, they're going to mark the ball at about the 36-yard line. Edward Neblett on the sack for Highland Park. Timeout has been called by McKinney, and we'll keep it right here. Matter of fact, let's talk to John Leidy. John, down on the sidelines, what do you got for us?
Guys, had Dario Jackson gotten out of the way on that kickoff, Matt Lipka was gone, but they allowed the defender a little bit of time to get over there to tackle Lipka. But as you can see, the offense here, what is probably going to play defense for you by trying to keep the Highland Park offense off the field, is having to make a scramble themselves here with 1 minute and 24 seconds left in the half to make a touchdown. But you don't want to make it too fast, because then you give the ball back to Highland Park, and you know how potent their offense has been tonight, putting 30-plus points up on the board. Back up y'all guys.
Yeah, not only tonight, but they've been potent all year long. You think about McKinney and what they've done offensively, scoring 452 points, setting a school record. Highland Park scored 470 this year. 533 combined yards tonight. That's impressive. 1:25 left to go here before half. And it's 41-16 Highland Park over McKinney. McKinney has the ball at the Highland Park 36-yard line. Second down and 12. Highland Park showing blitz. Lee wants to throw over the middle, and it's caught by Farley. Actually, Will Rogers. He's short of the first down. They're going to mark the ball at about the 26-yard line. The safety, Justin Cardenas, will make the stop. Hurry up offense, 1:11, 1:10. Dario Jackson split out wide right. Lipka to the left. Look for both of those guys on this play right here on second down and 1. And Lee actually is going to run up the middle. He had a nice seam for a moment, and he has the first down, and he's down at about the 16-yard line. 9 yards on the carry. Charlie Foose, the outside right linebacker, makes the stop. We're under a minute. 55 seconds when they move the chains and start the clock, and they just did. So we're at 53 and rolling. Lee wants to throw. Right side, Dario Jackson. Actually, Will Rogers makes the stop or catch inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. Clock rolling. 43, 42, 41, and now the clock stops with a timeout by McKinney. We'll take 1-2. 41-16, Highland Park in the lead. 41 seconds before half. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Locally owned and operated McKinney Gym Equipment.
30 seconds.
All right.
McKinney High School athletes in achieving the highest level of performance. Find all your core fitness needs at McKinney Gym Equipment, dedicated to selling nothing but the safest, highest quality equipment available. Featuring body solid products with an in-home lifetime warranty. McKinney Gym Equipment, University Business Plaza on 380, a half mile west of Custer Road in McKinney. Call 972-542-9907.
On 97.5 KLAK.
41 seconds left to go before half. Highland Park leading 41-16 over McKinney, but McKinney's knocking on the door. Second down and 2 from the Highland Park 8. Helt in the backfield, Farley and Lipka to the left, and Rogers and Jackson to the right, all bunched together. Second and 2. Lee looks right side, throwing into the end zone for Will Rogers, and he makes the catch! 5 yards deep in the end zone, towards the near corner. 8-yard touchdown. And it is touchdown time in Texas.
I'm wondering if Will Rogers is a basketball player because he basically boxed out the cornerback on there, Matt Bonanno, and basically just kind of fishnetted that one into his arms. That was a beautiful pass, number one, by Lee, and a beautiful job in making sure from Will Rogers that only he was going to be able to get to that one.
Going for two here are the McKinney Lions with Brett Helt in the backfield. 3 receivers to the right. Lipka by himself on the far side. Moving left to right. Lee in the gun. Looking right. Throwing the option, and he runs it in. It's 2-point conversion time in Texas, and now it's 41-24. Highland Park in the lead. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy scoring drive recap, Mike's Economy transmission. We'll do that in a moment after the JBS Express kickoff is going to be fair caught at the 29-yard line. And that's going to be on the fair catch for Highland Park was Josh Francis. Now we'll do the Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap for McKinney. 6 plays, 60 yards, 1:13 off the clock. It was a Zach Lee to Will Rogers, 8-yard touchdown pass, and that cuts the Highland Park lead 41-24 after the 2-point conversion by Zach Lee, who ran it in the end zone on the option. And now there's 35 seconds left before half. Highland Park leading 41-24. Woodley, they're not going to stop here, I wouldn't think. They're in the gun, 3 receivers to the right. Going to try to punch it in even from their own 29. Woodley drops back, wants to throw down the field. And he has Chris. Oh, it's incomplete. A great play by Prescott Mack on the far corner. It was intended for Chris Hips, or actually Stringer. It falls incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. 29 seconds on the second quarter clock. First incompletion by Luke Woodley.
And that was only because of the wind, really.
8 out of 9. And yeah. Unbelievable job, even against the wind. Unbelievable.
It's not as fierce as it was in that first quarter, and Prescott Mack did a good job in batting that down, but that was deadened somewhat by the wind.
Woodley in the gun, second and 10. Drops back 3 steps, under pressure, setting up the screen. And a great job by McKinney to sniff it out. Austin Mai on the reception. Ryan Hughes, the leading tackler, and also Eric Huesner were there to stop him. 19 seconds on the clock for Highland Park, who have it third and 11 after a 1-yard loss on the screen pass. A timeout has been called. We'll keep it right here. 41-24, Highland Park in the lead over McKinney.
And, Monty, that's encouraging, that last play at least, because the Lions have been burned on that screen play a few times tonight. And the fact that Ryan Hughes read it enough to get around him and get in the backfield to make that a loss on the play, you know, it hopefully gives you encouragement that they'll be able to make more plays like that as the game wears on, because right now when they're staring at, what is that, a 17-point deficit? I mean, this is something that, you know, that the defense sooner or later is going to have to do something. I mean, that's just the way it's going to shape up right now. And Highland Park's going to get the ball to open up the second half.
Well, Kevin McPherson telling me something in my ear just then, that this play here, this third down play by Highland Park will only be their second third down of the night.
And they scored 41 points. I don't know if that tells me how proficient Highland Park's offense has been or how bad the defense has been.
Well, I think it's a combination.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
Third down and 11 for Highland Park, right to left. 19 seconds left to go before the half. 2 receivers to either side. Woodley in the gun, along with Dickinson. Brian Dickinson, the running back. I thought somebody moved early, set up the screen, and Luke Woodley can't set up the screen. Now he's going to have to throw it. He's under pressure. And he rolls out, and he throws it down the field. That's a dangerous throw, but it falls incomplete. He just heaved it down the field. There's 9 seconds on the clock.
Out of bounds. He threw that one away.
He says he threw it out of bounds.
And we're going to see a punt finally.
Well, Highland Park will stand back in punt formation.
Hopefully this gives the Lions a chance. This is a great defensive stand. And I don't know, that was a screen pass. And I don't know who the intended receiver was for the screen, but they did a great job of not making sure that Woodley could throw that.
Matt Bonanno back to punt. He has a 41-yard average, a great punter, right-footed punter. And it's a low line drive kick into the wind. It's going to be taken by Matt Lipka, who will just fall down at his own 44-yard line. Is a 1.65 on the hang time.
Well, that was important to fall down because now it gives your offense a chance to throw it down the field. If Lipka tried to return that, he probably burns the 3.7 seconds on the scoreboard.
29 yards on the punt. That won't help his 41-yard average by Matt Bonanno. So we'll see what McKinney does here with 3.7 seconds left before half, trailing Highland Park 41-24.
I don't know of a punter who could punt into this win and have their average helped. You know, I mean, it's kind of a situation where you're trying to minimize your losses.
Look out for Dario Jackson, near side. They've got 5 guys in prevent defense standing at the 25-yard line. Do Highland Park. Lee trying to buy some time, steps up in the pocket, and he gets out of a sack, and he throws it past the line of scrimmage, and it goes incomplete. And that'll be the end of the half. 41-24, Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. We're at halftime. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
We're clear, guys.
It's going to be a rough start for them here in terms of the strategy because they're kicking off to open up the second half, but they're not going to get the wind at their backs for the fourth quarter.
And the JBS Express kickoff is in the air. It's going to be taken at the 18-yard line, and another big, huge hole, and that's going to be the 50 and out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Another return into McKinney territory, and that one is Brian Dickinson, and Will Rogers makes the stop. 39 yards on the return. Wow! Why can't they stop the return?
And that's the big question because it looked like they had figured it out by hitting that little gap between the front line and the returners. But this time they were able to catch it on the run, and I think that's really the thing that's hurting them the most is that their returners are catching it on the run.
Hey, onside kick even if you're going to give it up this far every time.
No kidding. That's a good idea, Monty.
1st and 10, right to left, Highland Park, 11:51. Left to go in the third, just underway, and this is a handoff to Dickinson up the middle, dragging Ryan Hughes with him for 4 yards to the 41-yard line in McKinney territory. 11:39 and rolling here, 41-24. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney.
I think right now what would help the Lions more than anything is if the first guy who makes contact with the ball carrier actually makes the tackle, because Ryan Hughes is having to come through from somewhere else on that play to make contact with somebody else who should have made the tackle already.
Luke Woodley, 2 receivers either side. He's going to hand off Dickinson. This is a reverse again. And this time they sniff it out, but he breaks out of a tackle. Still caught from behind. And this time McKinney is all over the ball carrier on the reverse. And on the reverse was Austin Mott.
I know the saying goes once bitten, twice shy, but what's the third time? I mean, they finally figured it out the third time, had people in the backfield. That should have been a bigger loss than it was, as it was because somebody made contact. The pursuit was able to get there and drag him down behind the line of scrimmage. Big play.
The pursuit was Ryan Hughes, and it was a loss of 5. 1 out of 2 on third downs for Highland Park.
Only
Dickinson
2?
Moving over to the right of Woodley. It's 3rd and 11 from the McKinney 46-yard line. Woodley wants to throw, looking right side, and he throws out, and it's incomplete, trying to hit Austin Mai right at the first down marker. And now Highland Park on 4th and 11 will probably boot this one away and try to pin McKinney deep, as McKinney will have the win, but it would be nice for Highland Park.
I don't know, Monty.
Maybe not.
Because that offense is staying on the field, and I think at this point they think they may not get that great a punt with the wind as it is. And they've been able to get big yards at a stretch.
Woodley has 3 punts so far this year, averaging 36. We'll see what he does here. Now he backs up, and he is going to punt. And he boots this one away, a high. Ooh. Oh, the kick goes nowhere. It might have been tipped, but it went into the wind. He kicked it straight up, and that wind took it right back. This is going to be a net of about 5 yards or so. McKinney's going to have the ball
what the heck?
At their own 36-yard line.
McKinney touched the ball thinking he was going to down it.
And Highland Park's going to recover. Taryn Morris touched the ball. Can you say Leon Lett? Leon Lett. Leon Lett. Taryn Morris touched the ball. Highland Park recovered.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Lion 34-yard line.
That's a live ball. It's a sophomore mistake.
Taryn Morris is a senior. Here's Woodley under pressure, throws, and it's over overthrown and out of bounds for his receiver to Austin Mai. 10:09 left to go in the third quarter, 41-24. Huge mistake by McKinney.
Well, I was thinking that was Travis Tarver. He's the sophomore. Yeah, Taryn Morris, defensive end senior. And, it's not like they haven't seen the quick kick before. And wow. Boy, they could have used that stop, too. That was going to be an awful punt.
That's a big one that you cannot make, especially in the playoffs against Highland Park. 10:09 left to go in the third quarter. Highland Park leads 41-24. Woodley in the gun. 2 receivers either side on second down and 10. Wants it. He gets it. And now he's going to run straight up the middle, a big hole. Nobody can tackle him. He's at the 20, he's at the 15, he's at the 10, and finally brought down at the 7-yard line. Highland Park can do whatever they want tonight. They're at the 10-minute mark in the third quarter, and they lead 41-24. And that was a 27-yard run by the quarterback right over right guard.
I'm shell-shocked. Man, that would have been a great way to open the half. You get a stop.
That was your golden opportunity right there to get back into this football game, and they muffed it away.
And you got the wind at your back, starting your possession, 2 straight Highland Park stops.
Highland Park, Dickinson, and actually Woodley keeps it, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield by Jordan Kilwine. It will go for a sack because it's a loss on the play.
That looked like a busted play. I think he was trying to hand off, but
I think they were running that cross buck again where he keeps it to the right guard like he did earlier in the football game, and this time they sniffed it out. Kilwine was right there. 9:25 and rolling in the third. Highland Park in the lead, 41-24. Second down and goal from the 9. Two men in the backfield along with Woodley. And he's rolling out left, wanting to throw near the end zone. Caught at the 3 and strolling into the end zone is Austin Mai. Third touchdown reception of the night. That one 9 yards for Austin Mai from Luke Woodley. Massive mistake.
And you don't do that against Highland Park.
I believe that's Woodley's 4th touchdown pass of the night. And that one 9 yards on the touchdown. 47-24 awaiting the PAT. And the clock operator really, he drops the ball here. I don't want to, talk too much about the clock operator, but he never puts the points on the board. Now he bangs through the extra point. So it's 48-24 if we can get this right. Yep, 48-24. Highland Park in the lead with 9:07 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
SD football on 97.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park. 8 plays, 45 yards, 2 minutes and 53 seconds off the clock. It was a Luke Woodley to Austin Mai touchdown. Woodley's 4th, Mai's 3rd reception, a 9-yard touchdown. But the play was set up by a big mistake by McKinney, touching the ball on a punt, which gave Highland Park the football. And now here's a delay of game against Highland Park as they kick it out of bounds on the JBS Express kickoff. Basically, Taryn Morris, I'll let you do the explaining of this, he just lost in his mind for a moment the rules of football.
Yeah, he forgot what side he was on. We noted that it was a quick kick, and it went straight up in the air and came back down. It would have been a punt about 10 yards. Well, 3 Highland Park players were standing around the ball waiting to down it, and as long as they don't down it, the clock still rolls, and Taryn Morris was just standing there, and they were like, maybe he's going to touch it, maybe he's not. He picked up the ball, and we're using Jared's account on this one. He picked up the ball, and they swatted it out of his hands and jumped on it. And what it looked like Taryn Morris was doing was he was trying to down the ball. But you do that on the punt team. You don't do that on the punt return team. And, again, Highland Park's where they are for a reason. They're a bunch of smart kids, and they were waiting for him to do that. I mean, they could have easily downed it when the ball started bouncing the other way, but they didn't because Taryn Morris was hanging around the ball.
Unbelievable turn of events because that could have given McKinney the ball.
Yeah.
In great shape.
Start off at around the 35. You got the wind at your back.
That really could be a 14-point swing in this football game. Here's Bonanno on the JBS Express kickoff once again. It's going to be taken by Lipka at the 17-yard line. Coming right, trying to find a block by Dario Jackson, who does a little bit of holding. They don't call it, and Lipka goes out at the 42-yard line. 18-yard return. McKinney will set up shop at their own 42, or 43 rather, moving left to right with 8:59 left to go in the third, trailing Highland Park 48-24.
You know, for all intents and purposes, Monty, as efficiently as this team is able to score, you know, they get a good stop. They've got momentum on their side. It's not inconceivable to think they scored those 7 points. You're exactly right.
That's a 14-point swing.
Yeah, I mean, 41-31 looks a lot better than what it is now.
Lee, handoff Helt, left guard, met at the line of scrimmage and still fights his way forward for about 4, shy of midfield by 3 yards or so. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 47, 8:46 and rolling. And McKinney's going to have to really get it in gear and stop making huge mistakes. The special teams, the kickoff return team has just been atrocious tonight.
Well,
all the special teams really have been atrocious.
And I can tell you the one person who feels the most bad about this in the stadium is Taryn Morris.
Absolutely. We feel for Taryn Morris. And you hate to play your last game and make a mistake like that. Here's Lipka, who makes a great catch on the outside. He's got the 35 and fumbles the ball at the 27. And Highland Park has recovered at their own 23. Lipka fighting for more yardage, had the ball spill out at the 27-yard line. It fell forward and rolled forward. Farley couldn't get on it, but the safety Justin Cardenas for Highland Park did.
Well, I'm having Jared and Kevin say in the ear that someone else, Justin Cardenas, that's who you said, wasn't it? Yeah, Justin Cardenas. All right. Just scratch what I'd said for the last 10 seconds.
1st and 10 now for Highland Park, moving right to left from their own 23-yard line. 2 receivers to either side, and Luke Woodley in the game at quarterback still. And he wants the ball. He's setting up the screen. Now he's setting up himself to run, and he does. He's got the 30 and moves his way towards the middle of the field. Flag in the backfield as he has a first down on first down to the 34-yard line. It will be holding against Highland Park, so they'll back this one up.
Yeah, they're going to get one of the interior guards. It's either going to be Ty Pierce or Mac Pervin. They were back there running the kind of running a screen. Well, not a screen, but a smoke screen, setting up the draw, making it look like a pass play. And they grabbed one of the McKinney Lion defenders.
8 penalties for 80 yards against Highland Park so far tonight. It really hasn't hurt them as they lead 48-24. What's really helped them has been the special teams of McKinney.
Yeah, and this just giving them away. And right now, Matt Lipka, and I don't know that there's much he can do with that fumble. I mean, you got to give credit to the Highland Park defense for causing that one.
Woodley in the gun. Brian Dickinson to his right. And Woodley wants to throw, setting up the screen underneath. Wide open is Austin Mai again. He's got the 30, the 40, and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And they run that underneath screen all night and can get all the points they want on it. Jared Johnson will make the stop after 33 yards on the pass and catch from Woodley to Austin Mai.
The Scots just have a knack for calling the right play in the right situation, and whenever the Lions secondary is in man-to-man, they throw a pass like that exploits the man-to-man. Whenever the Lions get into zone coverage, the Scots somehow find a way to find a pass play that exploits the zone. And so, I mean,
well, Randy Allen is at 268, 71, and 6 without calling proper plays. Here's Woodley setting up the screen again. Same play other side. This is going to be the big wide receiver. And that's Chris Hips, and he'll be tackled by Ryan Hughes, the leading tackler for McKinney. And now we're starting to get to the point where we need to start talking about the seniors, because it looks like if they don't do something in a hurry, this is probably their last football game.
Yeah,
and like I say, we hate to point out over and over again, and we don't want to keep pointing this out, but Taryn Morris, it was a critical mistake, and he's going to feel really bad about that.
Yeah, and the sad thing is for a long time.
2nd down and 1. Luke Woodley wanting to throw deep ball down the left side, and he undershoots Hips, and it's almost intercepted. And it falls incomplete. I don't know if that was Johnson or not. That was Dominique Gardner getting off the turf. And Gardner almost made a great play diving for the football but he couldn't come up with it. So with 6:47 left to go in the third, Highland Park leading 48-24 over McKinney here at Tom Kimbrough Stadium in Murphy, Texas.
And right now, if I were Highland Park, I start finding ways to stretch that clock out. You know, I mean, they've had the ability to run. I start calling a few more runs because they've been able to do what they want whenever, and they have more than doubled up, or they've straight up doubled McKinney.
Fourth third down of the game for Highland Park. It's third and short, and they're going to pick up the first down by handing it off left guard. Brian Dickinson, 30, 25, 20, 10, and down right there. Finally brought down by one of the linebackers, Ryan Levins for McKinney. 36 yards on the run from right to left across the field on the almost like a cross buck or counter trap.
You know, Monty, if I'm Coach Ray's,
short sweep, that's what I'm looking for. It was a little short sweep is what it was.
Basically, if I'm Coach Ray's, I start to figure out ways to shore up this defense because it's not looking well.
Two receivers to either side. Woodley really has been able to do what he wants to back there. He hands off to Brian Dickinson, who breaks a tackle. He's got the 5, and he's got the touchdown. Touchdown again for Highland Park. They break the 50 mark, as it's now 54-24, Highland Park. And Dickinson scores again.
Missed tackles. Ryan Hughes had a chance to get Dickinson in the backfield and couldn't complete it. Made contact, but just fell off.
It's a 10-yard touchdown for Brian Dickinson, as Bonanno now will come on for the extra point. 6:19 left to go in the third. And Bonanno will nail this one through. 55-24. Highland Park in the lead here at Kimbrough. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
McKinney ISD football on 97.5 KLAK.
6:19 left to go in the third as we prepare for the JBS Express kickoff. And Bonanno against the wind nails it deep. And Lipka is going to take it 8 yards deep in the end zone as it rolls from about the 10 into the end zone. And, man, they just don't care about that wind. Bring the wind if you want. They don't care. The Mike's Economy Transmission Scoring Drive recap for Highland Park. 5 plays, 77 yards, 1:51 off the clock. And it was a Brian Dickinson 10-yard touchdown, his third of the night. 55-24, that's what our score is now. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. We thought it would be a big scoring game, and it is, but we thought McKinney would probably do a lot of scoring as well, and they just haven't yet. They've made so many mistakes that they just can't get out from underneath themselves. Here's a handoff to Brett Helt, and he'll dive forward for 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 from their own 23-yard line. But mistake after mistake after mistake by McKinney, and not really. The offense has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I know Lipka had a fumble just a moment ago, but he was fighting for more yardage. You got to give it to him. Everything but the offense has been a disaster tonight.
Well, it's like I said, I don't know that I credit Lipka too much with that fumble as I give it to Highland Park's defense. I mean, they do turnover. They're plus 20 on the year for a reason.
2nd down and 7. Lee drops back 3 steps, looking right, flushed out of the pocket. Now he's going to roll out left. Still wanting to throw. Now he's going to tuck it. He's got the 25, spins down for a first down at the 31-yard line, just enough for the first. And they'll move the sticks with 5:28 rolling here in the third. 55-24, Highland Park over McKinney at Murphy's Tom Kimbrough Stadium.
And if you want to know the truth of the matter, I think it's been the special teams play that's hurt the most and giving up all these. I mean, you're putting your defense behind the 8 ball when you let Highland Park. I don't care what defense you are. You start them at your own 35, you're in trouble. I mean, that's just how it is with Highland Park. And that's happened, 3-4 times?
Lee's going to hand off Brett Helt. Big hole to the right side. He's got some room to the 40, breaking and busting tackles to the 44-yard line. 14 yards on first down for Brett Choo-Choo Helt. And another first down for McKinney as we are under the 5-minute mark in the third quarter. McKinney's really going to have to start putting some points on the board in a hurry
And then that's really the frustrating thing about it. They put themselves in a position where they're going to be throwing into the wind in the fourth quarter. I mean, if they'd have kept it close, they could still churn out Helt's legs and keep going, just like they did in that first quarter. But, I mean, like I said, their work's cut out for them. And not to say they can't do it.
Hand off Helt, and he'll run left tackle, and he'll fight and push for 4 yards when most backs would have gotten 1.
Yeah.
He somehow gets 4.
That play right there is a great example of why he's one of the area's top 5 leading rushers in 4A, because he doesn't go down right away. He's got that big bruising mentality that he just keeps turning those legs, keeps moving. And like you say, a 1 yard gain for most backs is a 5 yard gain for Brett.
2nd down and 6 for McKinney. Left to right, 4:10 left to go in the third, trailing 55-24 to Highland Park, who are showing blitz here. Zach Lee, handoff Helt, right guard, bangs his way for 2 to the 50. And that's going to bring up a 3.5, 3rd and 4 situation.
And that's another example of Highland Park always seeming to be in the right place at the right time. They're coming on a blitz. Anywhere else they run that play, if they decide to go between any other gap on that offensive line, they're going to come with a pretty big hole. But somehow Highland Park managed to have 2 people, one of them coming on a blitz right there.
90 yards on 19 carries for Brett Helt. He's had at least 104 in every game this year. Zach Lee on the option has lots of room. 35, 30, 25, trying to find a block. Can't get it and goes out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Dario Jackson was trying to get a block. He couldn't get it, but 29 yards later, Zach Lee has a 1st down and more.
Well, Jackson did a really good thing. He just took off on the line of scrimmage, and that sent cornerback Matt Bonanno just racing after him. And Bonanno's going down 15 yards before he realizes Zach Lee has even carried the ball past the line of scrimmage on a designed run play. So from that standpoint, he got his block in. He wasn't able to keep it to allow Zach to get to the end zone, but he really sold that play and made Bonanno think it was a pass.
3:22 in the third quarter. Lee wants to throw right side under pressure, throws it, and it is incomplete in the end zone, but a flag down right at the goal line. Trying to hit Dario Jackson in the end zone, and I believe there was some bumping and grinding going on down there by Matt Bonanno and we'll see what the penalty is.
Yeah, it could go either way, and so I'm waiting to see, because he could get Jackson for holding back Bonanno, but he could get Bonanno for holding back Jackson. It's going to be a judgment call. Defensive holding, all right.
Against Highland Park.
Automatic 1st down. And you hear that. I think Kevin just said 9th penalty for 90 yards for Highland Park. Does it seem like it's been that? I mean,
no, it doesn't.
I mean, that's the good. We've talked all year long when we were watching Boyd games and how they're sometimes struggling that good teams don't hurt themselves. The other aspect of that, good teams can overcome themselves sometimes too.
2 receivers to each side for McKinney from the Highland Park 11-yard line. 1st and 10. Lee looking left side, looking for Lipka in the end zone. Lipka goes down for it, and he can't come up with it. It's incomplete right at the goal line. And now it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 12.
So maybe looking ahead here, but this might be a time where I'm going to save it. I think it's still too premature. I do like the fact they're being aggressive, and if Lee can get that pass up just a little bit, Jackson, or rather Lipka, will come up with it.
Zach Lee, 14 out of 26 tonight, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Shotgun. He wants to throw left, or now in the end zone, and it's a great catch by Jared Farley, and it's touchdown time in Texas. 11 yards on the touchdown strike. It was just a quick in route, like Aikman to Irvin. And with 3:07 left to go in the third, McKinney strikes back.
And Lee put that right where only Farley could get it. Farley had the inside beat on his cover man, and that's really a shame to try to put a linebacker on Farley, because that's going to be a mismatch almost every time. And Farley basically, if you stand still and stretch your arms out, that's where the pass was. He made a great catch where only he could get it.
C.J. Gonzalez, extra point is up, and it's good. 55-31. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. The Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap for McKinney. 9 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 8 seconds off the clock. Zach Lee hits Jared Farley. That's Lee's third of the night, Farley's first. It was an 11-yard touchdown strike. And now our new score, 55-31. Highland Park in the lead. C.J. Gonzalez to bang away the JBS Express kickoff as the ball blows off the tee here. But again, going back, we were talking off the air just a moment ago, that 14-point swing from a moment ago, or the muffed punt or whatever you want to call it, the mistake on the punt, that makes it a 14-point swing. And if you have that back, McKinney's got a shot. I mean, they still have a shot as it is, but it's fading away.
It's a lot more tough for sure.
C.J. Gonzalez,
they did it.
Onside kick, and McKinney.
They got it, I think. No, they're not happy.
No, Highland Park has recovered right at the 50. It was a great kick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, if you're going to give up 50 yards on the return, you might as well try an onside kick.
The funny thing is, this is better starting field position for the Lions defense than a couple of their kicks that went deep. I mean, I'm not joking. You weren't either when you said onside. I like this better. You have a chance to at least recover it.
Absolutely.
And there's no way they're going to return it. I mean, aside from the Philly Cowboys game from a few years ago where that was returned, that's a rarity.
Well, here's Woodley and company back out on the field on offense, and Highland Park's going to drop back to throw under pressure for the first time tonight, and he's going to hit his back out of the backfield. Glasscock makes the catch, and he's brought down after about 3 yards, brought down by the safety Dominic Gardner. It'll be second down and about 7.
He is wrapped up in
I believe actually that was not Glasscock out of the backfield. That was Josh Francis making the catch.
And that's Monty. I mean, the defense has really played better here in the second half and really the last possession of the first half. They just really have had their backs to the wall.
Second down and 7, 2:26 left to go in the third. Woodley back looking left, throwing left, and it's caught again. That one again by Francis. And he'll make his way to the 38-yard line of McKinney. 9 yards on the reception. That'll move the sticks. Another first down for Highland Park. They're moving on up in first downs tonight as well.
Oh, yeah.
19 first downs in this football game.
I mean, you look at it, the defenses, and I have to use this term loosely, they've only given up 14 points this quarter.
Well, Highland Park has averaged 23.7 first downs per game.
Well, they're on their way.
And they've got 19 right here, 2:04, 2:03 and rolling in the third, leading McKinney 55-31. Shotgun for Highland Park. It's a deceptive score because Highland Park has controlled basically the entire football game. Throwing right side is Woodley, and it's almost intercepted. A great coverage out there by Jamel Fee, or that's Prescott Mack, and also Jordan Kilwine from the linebacker position going out. They read it perfectly. I thought they were going to get the pick, but it falls incomplete.
Mack did a good job of keeping the receiver in front of him, and Kilwine came in right as he was basically reading Woodley, watching his eyes, and that's a great job for your linebacker. And that was probably had the best coverage for this McKinney line defense all night.
3 receivers to the right, second down and 10 for Highland Park, moving right to left into a steady wind. It's still blowing from the McKinney 38-yard line. Woodley wants to run, and he's brought down from behind. A great play up front by Jamario Mack. The senior has 25 tackles coming in and 5 sacks, and that one may count for a sack as he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 11.
I think one of the biggest weaknesses this Lion defense has had is they're unsure sometimes. They do a little bit too much reaction instead of doing their reads and reacting, or rather acting. In that play, they did a good job of reading the offensive line. They charged off right at the snap, an obvious run.
Third down and 10 for Highland Park. Francis to the near side slot. And Dickinson in the backfield, he gets the hand, and he spins out of a tackle and can't spin out. Oh, he does. He somehow spins out of several McKinney tackles. He's going to be a yard short of the first down. An incredible effort by Brian Dickinson, and he nearly picks up the first. He met Jordan Kilwine initially, and I thought Kilwine was going to make a great stop, but Kilwine he just got in his way for a moment.
Yeah, and the thing is, 4th and 8 looks a lot different than 4th and 1, and that's going to change what the Scots are going to do here, because they're likely wouldn't have gone for it if they'd have been stopped around the line of scrimmage.
Under 30 seconds now in the third quarter. 55-31, Highland Park in the lead. Fourth down, handoff. That's going to be a first down again. And on the carry for Highland Park was Brooks McKinney, as he's a young man who scored the touchdown earlier, one of the many touchdowns, as there's 20 seconds on the clock as they move the sticks here. And this is kind of the situation where if you're Highland Park, you kind of want to just let it run out, don't you, and go to the fourth with the win.
Well, and they've been mostly running it here in the second half of this quarter.
And I presume they'll probably keep running it.
I could see him going for a play right as the clock's about to go zero. They are.
2 men in the backfield, and they're going to let this one run out.
My apologies.
That's the end of the third quarter. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney, 55-31 at Kimbrough Stadium in Murphy. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK. Time in Texas, and Highland Park leads here in Murphy, Texas, 55-31 over McKinney, Texas. Moving left to right now in the fourth quarter with the win is Highland Park, as they send two receivers to the left. They hand off on the counter tray to the near side, and Brian Dickinson, I believe, is going to get the carry. Nope, that's McElhenney again, and he'll make his way to the 26-yard line. Jordan Kilwine will make the stop, and it'll be second down and long for Highland Park.
Got some area scores for you, Monty. The Denison team, the District 9-4A champs, no problem over Roy City in the fourth quarter. They're up 34-16. Sherman and Pierce in the fourth quarter tied at 34. That should be a fun one. And one more after
Sherman
this.
has been trailing most of that game.
Yeah.
Here's new quarterback into the game, and it's going to be same result, a catch. Oh, it is Woodley still in the game. I thought for a moment that was his backup into the game. 16 yards to Francis. Another first down for Highland Park. I thought for a moment, Woodley wears 13, and the backup, Dylan Zweifel, wears 12, and I thought for a moment that it was 12. We're way up here in the sky at Murphy Stadium. I got to get my binoculars back out.
Zweifel 6'5", and that would just look monstrous among these players.
Three receivers come near side, moving left to right. Highland Park from the McKinney 10-yard line. Woodley in the gun as always. He's going to hand off up the middle, and that's Glasscock. Makes his way inside the 5, and Glasscock will go down at the 3-yard line. It'll be second and goal. Jamario Mack makes the stop. I guess they'll mark him at the 4-yard line officially.
The last 9-4A score that we have from you, Centennial was making their first playoff run, and it ends with a thud. 49-14, they fall to Rockwall Heath.
They'll actually call it the 3-yard line. Second down and goal from the 3. Woodley rolling out right, looking in the end zone, and is caught. Taking candy from a baby, Francis makes the catch on a 3-yard touchdown for Highland Park. Fifth passing touchdown on the night for Luke Woodley. Unbelievable.
And if it were any other team, I think it would be a lot easier to swallow. Not that it would be in this situation, but there's no love lost between Highland Park and myself, even though Highland Park doesn't know it.
Which is kind of funny.
It is.
I snap, but it's on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Well, 62-31. Highland Park has doubled up McKinney. There's 10:40 left to go in the football game. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
Would you like to improve your...
4.5 KLAK.
The Mike's Economy Transmission Scoring Drive recap for Highland Park. 10 plays and 50 yards. 4 minutes and 27 seconds off the clock. Luke Woodley throws his 5th touchdown pass of the night. This one to Francis, 3 yards. And it's 62-31. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. As we're just about ready for the JBS Express kickoff. Bonanno will boot it deep, and it'll actually bounce at about the 8-yard line and into the end zone. And McKinney will take over from their own 20-yard line into the teeth of the wind, moving right to left. We'll check down with Jonathan Leidy on the sidelines. John, what do you got for us? John apparently doesn't have
fumbled
much.
with
There he goes.
2 giveaways right off the bat. I mean, you had a defensive mistake and then offensive fumble there. And when you hand the ball back to Highland Park twice, let alone the normal possessions they're going to get, you're kind of asking for trouble there. And that's basically what the McKinney Lions got. But they had a great touchdown there. Hopefully 30 points in 10 minutes. I don't know. It might be possible. Ask Plano East. Back up to y'all.
John referring to John Tyler. Here's Zach Lee in trouble behind the line of scrimmage. And he's going to lose a couple of yards. Back to the 18-yard line. It'll be second down and 12 with 10:32 and rolling. On the sack will be Charlie Foose. Who else? The right outside linebacker. Jonathan referring to John Tyler and Plano East back in 1994. And, something like that's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
And if it does, me and you will be on Jay Leno.
Oh, no, yeah, we'll be all over the place. I wonder if those kids knew before the game they were about to make history and be referenced by every Texas football broadcast every year.
No, I don't think they knew.
You know?
Handoff, Brett Helt up the middle, and he's got some running room to the 25, and he'll go down there. 7-yard gain takes him up to the 25. It'll be 3rd and 5. It's for McKinney.
3 minutes left. One team's down by 3 touchdowns. He's brought down by 26. Murphy Hink.
9:41 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. 62-31.
You know, at this point they have to throw the ball, and that's unfortunately the situation they've put themselves in, throwing into the wind. But they're going to have to. I mean, they can't rely on the running game unless they're ready to concede.
Showing blitz is Highland Park. On 3rd and 5 for McKinney with 3 receivers to the near side. They fake the hand to help throw the swing pass out to Farley. Gets a great block. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage, and so is Farley at the 28-yard line, shy of the first down by 2 yards. It'll bring up a 4th down, but let's check the flag. I have a feeling it's going against McKinney, though.
I'm hoping for an offsides.
Yeah, and Kevin McPherson tells us that there's a shot of that. And it is.
All right.
It is against Highland Park. So
moral victories.
New life for McKinney. 25th first down for McKinney tonight.
Well, and that proves what we said. The offense can only do so much.
They've done everything tonight. Everything asked of them, but they can't overcome the other parts of the football team. Here's a handoff. Brett Helt, left tackle, big hole. Now he scoots it over to the right. Shy of the 40-yard line by a yard. 9-yard run. Now he has 106 on 21 carries. The safety, Justin Cardenas, makes the stop. And it'll be second down and 1 for Choo-Choo Helt and company. You know, next year, McKinney is going to have a challenge trying to find some way defensively to pair up with this high-powered offense. Here's Helt, who's met hard after picking up the first down by a yard.
That's the roughest I've seen him go down all game, maybe even all year.
Murphy Hink, the leading tackler for Highland Park, the linebacker, just put a lick on Brett Helt.
Yeah, you talk about this high-powered offense. They've got Lee Lipka and 2 of their offensive line coming back, but the first 2 are going to make a big difference, and you can bet that Lee's going to make one of the juniors and sophomore receivers better.
Oh, absolutely. Lee throwing down the field here across the middle. He overshoots Farley, and it's incomplete. He was well covered. Lee trying to BB it in there, but BBs it over his head. 7:56 left to go in the game. 62-31. Highland Park in the lead over McKinney. 93 points in the game.
One of the main things I worry about with this Lion offense is the fact that the offensive line is pretty senior heavy. They've got 3 senior starters, and of the 2 deep, the backups, 4 of them are seniors, 1's a sophomore.
Second down and 10, right to left, McKinney. Lee in the gun, wants to throw right side, and he's got his man Dario Jackson, I believe, makes the catch. Right at the first down marker, which is the 48 in Highland Park territory. They'll make the catch, and they'll move the sticks. It's Will Andrews on the stop for Highland Park.
You know, I kind of wonder how Ronald Rockmore would do at linebacker, because he's kind of got that big frame. He's 6'5", 230. You know,
That's a big linebacker.
Yeah, and I'm sure he can lay a hit with the best of them. He looks like he's that kind of player who can lower his shoulder when he needs to.
First down and 10 for McKinney with 7:30 and rolling here in the fourth. It's going to be a handoff to Brett Helt running near side, and he'll escape a couple of defenders and fall down. And a late hit out of bounds by Highland Park on Murphy Hink, the leading tackler. And it was about a 4-yard gain for Brett Helt. Move it up a little bit more after the penalty.
Well, I don't. Never mind.
You know, this is the 62 points is the most points ever given up in a playoff game by McKinney. The closest was 49 back in 1982 when the Corsicana beat McKinney 49-6. That was the previous highest points given up in a playoff game. So this 62 smashes that. Here's Lee throwing down the field. He has Dario Jackson, who can only get one hand on it as he jumps up. And it, again, is too high and falls incomplete at about the goal line. It was a great throw by Lee as far as the wind being in his face. He really threaded the needle there, but it's hard to throw perfectly against that wind.
Yeah, and he came real close to doing it. And, you know, that's not a weakness, being able to throw into the wind. You know, there's not a whole lot of guys who can. I mean, this affects NFL game plans when you've got world-class quarterbacks at that level.
Second down and 10 for Lee and company. Handoff, Helt, left tackle, big hole, 25, got the 20. Spinning out of tackles down at the 16-yard line. Another first down for McKinney. 12 yards on the carry for Choo-Choo Helt. He's had at least 121 in 9 of the 10 games he's played so far. Justin Cordenas makes the stop for Highland Park. You know, we're, looking at the record book here and the most points ever given up by a McKinney team. Well, Highland Park scored 87 on them back in 45.
I was looking at that one earlier.
Highland Park scored 74 on them back in 42. Here's Lee throwing down the field, and it's incomplete at the 9-yard line, looking for Farley, and there's a late flag coming in. That one's going to be on the safety, Justin Cardenas. So let's check out these scores. The record book for McKinney. This is unbelievable, okay? You've got the most points ever given up, 87 to Highland Park. The next, 74 to Highland Park. The next, 73 to Highland Park. The next, 72 to Highland Park. And then 71 to Denton Ryan. And that was this year.
The funniest thing about some of that's not like one team dominating another team. Those are spread out.
Well, and those are in the 40s era. That was 1945, 42, 44, and 43. So apparently McKinney, not so good back in those days. Highland Park, they're Highland Park.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're good every year. I say we go back to having one district champions win, so that way Highland Park's not in the playoffs every year.
First and goal from the 9 for McKinney. Lee looking left. Now he's going to run. He's got the 5, and he's got the touchdown. It's touchdown time in Texas for Zach Lee and McKinney. 9 yards. And that'll actually set another record for McKinney if they can bang the extra point through it.
Well, they're going for 2 because they've kept the offense on the field, and the offensive line started to go off, and the coaches pushed them back on. You know, and at this point, kicking into the wind, I don't know that I've got enough confidence in my kicking game to say I'm going to make it 90% of the time. All you need to do is get your 2-pointers more than 45 after that.
Well, you need points.
Yep.
Any way you can get them. 62-37 right now. Lee wants to throw. Now he wants to run. Now he wants to throw, and it's incomplete. And another late flag comes in the back of the end zone. Another late flag.
Getting the flags now.
Looks like McKinney is going to have another shot here at the 2-point conversion. It's 62-37. Highland Park in the lead.
So they'll do another try here. Basically half the distance to the goal makes it from the 3 to the 1.5, and this opens up a lot of options here. I think if Zach Lee would have tucked that one up on the last play, there wouldn't have been a need for a penalty.
I think you said the right word. Option.
Yeah. They've had success with that today.
6:16 left to go in the football game, and Farley goes in motion. 2-point conversion try here, and it is the option, and Zach Lee keeps it. Does it get in? No, he does not. He does not get in. Just short. So it's 62-37 with 6:16 left to go and an onside kick coming up on 97.5 KLAK.
On 97.5 KLAK.
Well, the Mike's Economy Transmission scoring drive recap for McKinney. 9 plays, 80 yards. Very impressive. 4 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock. It was a 9-yard touchdown by Zach Lee. And that would be his 11th touchdown rushing on the year. And that cuts the deficit 62-37 after the missed 2-point conversion. Here's an onside kick by McKinney on the JBS
Perfect
Express
bounce.
kickoff.
Oh, no.
And it's taken by Highland Park. And this one could go to the house, to the 20, 15, knocked out of bounds. It was returned by Morgan Stringer, and Will Rogers knocked him out at the 5-yard line. So an onside kick is almost taken back to the house, and the miscues by the special teams rolls on.
Karma smacked me in the face with that one not too long ago. I said the odds of having an onside kickoff return were pretty low. Well, the thing is, they got the bounce they needed, and they almost got it. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe it was Dario Jackson who was going up with it. If he would have grabbed it, that's it. But it was just a tip beyond his reach, and that allowed Stringer to go down the sidelines.
Woodley in shotgun, clapping his hands, wants the ball, hands off. Dickinson, right side, down at the 3-yard line. Gain of 1 or 2. Stopped by the middle linebacker, Corey Motherwell. And we're under 6 minutes now in the football game. Highland Park leading 62-37 and probably about to stick it in again here.
Probably. Yeah, Jared says he thinks it might have been Lipka who had a chance to get that one that was just beyond his reach. You got to say that, Monty. They got the bounce they needed. It was well executed from a kicking standpoint.
Handoff, Glasscock this time to the left side, and he's into the end zone. 68-37, Highland Park in the lead, awaiting the PAT.
Even the announcer seems to be tired of saying. If you heard it on through the crowd mic there, touchdown Highland Park. Like he said it enough today.
We'll have the Mike's Economy scoring drive recap after the break as Bonanno is going to come on and try this PAT with the wind towards the south end zone. There's 5:33 left to go in the game. Snaps back. It's on the tee. Kicks up. And the kick is good. 63-30. Actually, no. They still haven't marked it on the board, have they? 69-37. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.
And I've never really liked Highland.
Welcome back to Tom Kimbrough Stadium in Murphy. The Mike's Economy transmission scoring drive recap for Highland Park. Only 2 plays, only 5 yards, and only 43 seconds after the onside kick return for 45 yards. It set them up at the 5-yard line. It was a 3-yard touchdown by Glasscock, and now Highland Park leads 69-37 over McKinney. And the JBS Express kickoff is banged deep, and it lands 9 yards deep in the end zone and rolls out. So McKinney will have possession at their own 20, moving right to left with 5:33 left.
And that's one of the biggest keys to football is field possession battle, and you've got to give credit to that Highland Park kickoff team. They have made it in their favor almost every time. They have kicked it out of the end zone numerous occasions. And on the other end of the deal, McKinney has it, and that's been the one that sets up big returns. And, Highland Park's had it real easy in terms of field. I mean, just look at the last one, 5 yards to go. I mean, that's a free throw from right underneath the basket.
And now, well, here's Lee. We'll get to it in a moment. And Lee's going to keep it over the middle. Looked like a busted play, but somehow Lee will gain 4 yards up to the 24-yard line. And actually, that's Rockamore into the game at quarterback. Now, for the first time, McKinney has now given up more points than they've scored. McKinney has given up 490 points this year. They've scored 489.
Well, they could get it back.
When you score 489, how can that be? How can you have the best offense in school history paired with the worst defense? How can that happen? You've got 108 years. Yeah, you've got 108 years. How can the worst be messed up matched up with the best and be on the same team. It's strange. Here's a handoff. That's Damian Willis will bust through for a few yards and pick up a first down up to the 38-yard line. 14 yards to be exact for Willis as we're nearing the 4.5-minute mark left in the football game. This is crazy numbers.
And it's like I've always said, offense is great and all, but defense will win you those champions. There's a reason that stereotype and that cliche is there is because you can't win without a defense. Not necessarily having a defense doesn't mean you'll win, but look at this situation.
And off Damian Willis again up the middle, and he'll have a 12-yard gain and another first down for Damian Willis. Now, Willis is a sophomore, so you're looking at the future here. Choo-Choo Helt will be leaving. He's a senior. Jared Farley kind of been the safety valve this year for Zach Lee. He'll be moving along as well, as will Dario Jackson, the deep threat, kind of the Terry Glenn of the football team. The deep threat, Austin Miles type, very fast. Handoff Willis again, and this time he'll gain about 4 inside Highland Park territory to the 46, maybe 47-yard line. We're going to check down with Jonathan Leidy down on the sidelines. John, what do you got?
I'm starting to wrap up. It's kind of obvious right now that McKinney's probably going to lose this game, and we're looking at seniors that are on the roster. And just some of the seniors we're going to talk to after the game are going to be Dario Jackson, Jared Farley, Brett Helt, Ryan Hughes, Will Rogers, people like that. So back up to y'all.
All right, thanks a lot, John. It's second down and 6. This is a handoff. Willis again up the middle, and a couple of yards here. The offensive line's going to take a big hit. Bo Brasher, Tyler Peterson, Brian Warren will all leave. Will Rogers and Quinn Benson will leave. The backup wide receivers, Brandon White will leave. Trevor Bout will leave. Matt Hansen, who played a little defense, played backup receiver, and also the holder, he won't be back next year. Rockamore handoff Willis, right tackle, big hole up to the 35, and tries to break a couple of tackles, and he does to the 32-yard line. They'll move the sticks again for McKinney as we are at the 2:42 mark. Clock will start rolling once they move the sticks. On defense, you will graduate some guys, basically the entire front, except for Colin Zabaski. You'll lose Taryn Morris, Devon Goldborn, Jamariel Mack. You'll lose your cornerbacks, Jamel Fee, Prescott Mack. You'll lose all your linebackers, Ryan Hughes, Corey Motherwell, and Jordan Kilwine. And you'll lose your safety, Jared Johnson. This is going to be a handoff to Willis, left tackle for more yardage out to the 22-yard line. And another first down for Damian Willis. And he is the quicker version of Brett Helt. He's maybe the
Thunder and Lightning.
Felix Jones to Marion Barber, maybe something like that.
I know if you're going with Rondane Tiki Barber comparison.
59 yards on this drive so far for Damian Willis as we're under 2 minutes now. First and 10, right to left. Rockamore handoff. Willis, left side, and he's in trouble this time behind the line of scrimmage. A great tackle behind the line. And on the stop for Highland Park there. On the stop for Highland Park will be Jake Howarth. As I'm assuming that's another Howarth under the defensive coordinator. Second down and 10 for McKinney as we're at 1:21 and rolling. Rockamore in the gun, 2 receivers either side. Rockamore's going to throw for the first time. He throws over the middle. I believe that's Farley. No. Oh, it is. It's
Quinn Benson.
Quinn Benson makes his catch, and he was popped immediately. Yeah. He dove and hit the knee of one of the Highland Park Scots as soon as he made the catch. It'll be a first down for McKinney. 34 first downs for McKinney, and I believe Willis may have lost the ball here.
Yeah. If that isn't fitting.
Yeah, Damian Willis lost the ball, and that will be the end of the ball game as Garrett Childers recovers the football, and we're under a minute. Highland Park will take over possession at their own 14-yard line. A fitting end to this one 69-37. As you've seen McKinney now give up more points than it has scored. 490 given up, 489 scored on the year.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. You think that's just crazy. When you score 489 points in a year.
Almost 500.
If you could just play decent defense,
yeah, we're not even asking you to be good.
Yeah, and Highland Park takes the knee. And this one's just about over, except for all the tears that are going to be flowing down on the field after this football game, as many seniors have just played their final snap, or just about to, as we're at 41 seconds. And a couple of the guys, it's all basically new guys on the field now. The seniors have played their last snap. And this is a horrible experience, as I can recall what this is like to be walking off the field for the last time. It's not a fun situation to be in. Yeah. And now the coaches are walking on the field. Coach Bobby Rays is already walking toward the midfield. He's going to shake hands with Randy Allen, who is in his custom fedora. Randy Allen honors Tom Landry by wearing that fedora, and he wears it well at Highland Park. They move on. Next week, McKinney will not. 69-37. Highland Park defeats McKinney tonight. Back in a moment on 97.5 KLAK.